My name is Joe. I get to play the GM and two characters.
I need to play babysitter.
He really does it all.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm the host with the most. Alright. Fucking, let's see here. If we're all ready. Vash, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, awesome.
Oh, alright, let's see.
The rocks that just woke up.
Cocksucker. Well, motherfucker, if you get on the road right now, you might get here in time for your character introduction. But that's if you get going right now.
You probably plan on putting him in this cabin, but we're gonna go back to the town, look in this cave.
Yeah, you're gonna leave him there, and he's just gonna be forced to sit here and watch and just kind of tap his fingers. Like, cool shit,
You know
Joe.
what you're trying to do, and we're not
What the
falling for it.
Fuck, did I even put his character sheet?
I put it in here.
Oh, okay.
I took it because I wanted to look at it.
Right. Well, let you finish sending that text.
Oh, I told him, fucking let's go.
Okay. Well, unless we left our heroes. Next time the session starts, I'll have a really verbose, extended explanation of the story so far, as we have a new player. But for now, I'll just sum it up shortly. The party has entered the city of Neverwinter recently, and after staying there for one day, they exit to find that there's smoke rising from what was supposed to be a partition section of the city, an area where nobody's allowed to be, other than the city guard, of course. They shortly find out that there has been attacks coming from the Great Neverwinter Chasm, and drow are coming out in droves, attacking the city guard, and appear to be making an outwards push. They found that who else but Iarno Albrecht seems to be at the helm of this whole thing. And the Black Spider also seems to have made an appearance as well for this particular circumstance. After having some discussion with Lieutenant Finstrin, they got inserted into the chasm, made some progress, left to restock, and then they went back into the chasm where they are now. They had just reached a deeper level within the chasm, crossed a stone bridge suspended a good while above a lava lake before they entered what seems to be a sort of impromptu workshop, where they found two drow, promptly slew them, and that's where we pick up. So, Vash had just thrown a hammer at the drow that got killed right here. There is also another drow that got killed about right here in front of Magnus. Talia had left off on the bridge. She'd prepared flaming hands in preparation for if the stalactites break off and begin floating down to attack. That being the case, that is where we start off today.
Alright. Shall we proceed onward?
Well, we're gonna blast these fucking stalactites or
that's
what?
right. We can. I ain't got no range.
Well, they're not bothering us yet, so I don't care.
As you say that, you hear come from the other room as Talia lets her rip. You hear like noise as apparently something takes damage. Let's see here. You hear a sort of fleshy impact sound on the stone walkway before you hear a cacophony of other clicking noises. This is probably going to be the most rapid succession of events, but roll for initiative.
Hey, 21.
Where's my dice at?
I fucking put him in that chair, dog.
behind the chair.
Yeah, there they are.
I rolled a 21.
Alright.
+2, right?
Yes.
16.
Okay, maybe you can stand my behind your kitty.
Alright, finish.
No, here's my range weapon. I throw him more than I throw my javelins.
Okay, let's see here.
Poor Joey's gotta play these too.
Alright, now let's arrange these properly.
Watch me get in that 20 this next roll.
Why don't you turn around, craft yourself a fucking javelin quick?
I just rolled another 20 on my second throw. This time it's up, so I just wasted it.
Just pick up a fucking pickaxe or a hammer from the table and just huck that. Yeah, huck a rock, fuck it.
They're just squishy fucking octopus things. It's gotta take some damage from a rock, though.
Alright, so let's see here. There is one floating down from here, one floating down from here, and one floating down from here. There is one already dead, one on the floor there, and that's the one that Talia ganked because she had prepared produce flame for that. Alright, so she's the green dot. Alright, I should probably number these. So you're gonna be 1, you're gonna be 2, you're gonna be 3. Okay, so we start off with Dark Mantle number 2. Let's see here. You guys can't see this, but there is a strange aura that emits itself around Talia. Talia loses her sense of vision surrounding her as this dark circle of just straight blackness surrounds her. She's not able to see. This guy, however,
my voice.
is going to move over here. He's going to end his turn. All right, Fang, it's on you.
So just try to guide her out of the darkness.
Do what you will.
I'm obviously gonna move to the edge of the fucking aura. Let's see. What's what right here?
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of it, so I'm just gonna do that for this round. I'm gonna make my way to the end of the aura and scream,
Talia, follow the sound of my voice.
All right. That's your movement and speaking done. You still have an action available.
I'm going to pick up a rock. Is there a rock near me I can pick up?
Looking around, there's not as many big rocks as you saw in the cave before. There's like a selection of like grape-sized pebbles.
I'm back. I'm gonna pick up the hammer bash, use to kill that guy, and I'm gonna get back to the edge.
If you run back, well, let's say you grab the hammer on the way over there, so you already have the hammer. So yes, you pick up the hammer and you have that.
So
All right, so you have the hammer and you're standing there. You still have an action available.
I guess I'll just take the Would me calling out to Talia be part of the help an ally?
You're not really going out of your way to do anything physical. You're just communicating to her.
Alright. Fuck it. I guess I'll just fucking try to make my way forward.
You could prepare an attack if something comes down the hallway.
Alright, I guess I'll do that.
Alright, so Fang grabs a hammer, runs over to the base of the stairwell and says, Talia, come to me if you can hear me. He kind of raises the hammer and gets ready to throw it at the first thing he sees. Alright. This guy over here. He's going to float over. He's going to float over and attempt to bite Talia. So alright, so that flying squid slowly levitates over. He enters the darkness aura. Talia can sort of sense this presence coming towards her. As the snapping beak gets closer, Talia sort of evades it, and no damage is dealt. It's now on you, Magnus.
Now, is this aura like a bubble?
It's like a bubble.
Okay, so I can't see through it or over it to the guy.
Right, looking at the stairwell, it's just pitch black.
Up in the air above it?
From your perspective, that stairwell, it's completely pitch black.
Okay. So I'm just gonna get up. I'm assuming I'm the blue one?
Yes.
I'm gonna get up next to him over here and just prepare a Ray of Frost. And I'm also gonna say, Talia, get a fucking move on!
Alright.
Get a fucking move on!
So, you prepare your Ray of Frost and you call out to Talia once again. Damn it, Talia, come on! Alright, so it brings us to the final. And this encounter, he's going to slowly flow over. 5, 10. He's going to just kind of float past. Actually, he's going to stop right on Talia and attempt to bite at her as well.
These things can see through it?
They have echolocation.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so Talia, she's standing there trying to get her bearings to sort of figure out where the direction of the noises are coming from. As she does so, however, she feels some tentacles wrap around her shoulder and this beak crush through her leather armor and bite into her flesh. She sustains 9 points of crushing damage. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, it is now on Vash. Vash is this guy right here. He's going to do the same exact thing everybody else is doing. He's going to get over here and he's going to prepare his bow to attack the first thing that he sees. It is now on Talia. She is going to sort of run down the stairs and go towards the direction of the voices. Since she's blind and running down the stairs, I'm gonna have to have her make a dexterity check to see if she falls down the steps. Fuck. Damn it. Literally bounced off my foot.
1. So that's a reroll.
I fell off the table anyway, so it doesn't count. 8 plus her dexterity.
Jeez.
Alright. So you can hear her running, and Fang senses this rapid movement coming towards him as Talia misses a step and flies down the stairs. She lands, boof, down right at the base of the stairs. You can see that this dark slate gray looking squid is attached to her shoulder still, and it's just sort of pulsating oddly as it continues to gnaw into her flesh. She's still sitting like right beside you guys. She's going to take her turn to attempt to remove it. Alright, let's see here.
Couldn't you technically crush it as she's running because you readied up that hammer?
Yeah, you also readied up your Ray of Frost too.
Right, but it is on her. It's literally attached. So, here's what we'll do. I'll have her roll to remove it. If she can, then yeah, one of you can use your attack on it for free. If not, you can choose whether or not you want to. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so Talia, she grabs the squid by its tentacles. She attempts to try and rip it off, but you can see the suction cups are just too strong, and it continues attached to her shoulder, continuing to gnaw into her. She remains there, however. If you'd like, you can try and attack it anyways.
I'll try to attack it with a hammer.
Alright, roll to hit. That's going to be your dexterity modifier.
Dex?
Yes.
13.
13 definitely hits. I'd say roll a d4 plus your dexterity modifier.
4.
Alright, so you take this hammer. You can see Talia trying to get this squid off. You go, boom, huck the hammer at it, just right into the side of this poor squid.
Get off, Talia. Get off her.
He sustains 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Is it still attached, or did it like...
It is still attached, but you can see it react. Alright, so it is back.
Well, I'm gonna use my prepared spell to blast over the others.
Alright, so roll to hit for that then.
16.
16 hits, roll for damage.
Oh, what is it, a D?
For Frostbolt, I think it's a D8.
Oh, cancel.
Yes. 4 plus your, I think your modifier's intelligence.
Yeah, so 7.
7. Alright, so this, you watch as Fang hucks his hammer at it. You say, fuck it. You go, whoosh, cast your Ray of Frost out, and it slams true into the same squid in question. It succeeds in its spell save, and it only takes 3 points of damage. Alright, so this guy up here is going to slowly begin floating down.
Don't forget, Bash has his arrow knot, too.
Yep.
Correct, but...
Okay.
Alright, so he's going to sort of float right down into
I don't know
here.
if he's any Robin. Hood. He's not. He just seems like a fucking fraction.
Alright, so he's gonna sort of float right down into here.
He's not. He just seems like a fucking fraction. He's not. He just seems like a fucking fraction. He's not. He just seems like a fucking fraction. He's not. He just seems like a fucking fraction.
That was 1. All right. No, that was 2. Never mind. So Vash is going to take this opportunity to shoot an arrow out at him. That hits. Alright, so as this squid crosses the threshold of this dark aura, Vash releases an arrow, goes slams right into one of the barely functional eyes of this creature. It deals 9 points of damage to it. This creature, however, is going to, since it still has its turn, is going to attempt to couple with Magnus. Alright, your armor class is 12. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so you sort of turn your shoulder as Vash lets an arrow rip. As the arrow makes impact, you see this beast coming towards you, and it, similarly to Talia, it grabs onto your shoulder, goes crunch. You get dealt 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Fang, it is now on you.
Alright, I'm going... Okay, so one of them's now attached to Magnus?
Yes.
Is it like a big target? Is it just kind of like something there?
It's like the size of a watermelon just protruding from his shoulder.
Don't miss. You'll probably knock me out.
Hit him right in his fucking head.
I'm at 8 health right now.
Oh man, it's all good unless I get in that one. So I'm gonna try to knock the shit right off his side with my mace or my flail.
All right, roll hit.
What is that?
3.
Okay, well that's a 6.
6. All right. So you get your ball and chain taut. You whip it around. You bring it down. Magnus sort of recoils from the crunch on his shoulder. He sort of inadvertently turns it, and you just slam it right into the stone floor, missing it. You deal no damage to anybody, luckily.
Oh God.
All right, so it is now. Okay, so
I don't have no spell slots.
the one attached to Talia is still attached. He's going to attack Talia again.
Who has the dagger?
And Talia, I think, has the dagger. Alright, so since he's still attached, he had advantage, and because of that, he was able to land his hit. But he only deals 4 points of damage to Talia.
I think because Droop had it, and then he gave it back to me after he got done slamming people.
Alright, so I'll say,
I thought he
yeah,
did.
go ahead and just,
Am I crazy?
you can have,
I think yeah, I can top one.
yeah, I think you're right. So you have a mosquito on you currently. Alright, so it is now on Magnus.
So I'm gonna pull Mosquito out and fucking stab the fuck cocksucker that's on my shoulder.
Getting that one.
Alright, so roll to hit.
But I heal myself while I do it.
Right. Technically take no damage. 10 plus your dexterity modifier.
12.
Alright, that hits. Roll a d4 plus the dexterity.
2, 4.
Alright, so you take out Mosquito. You can see the blade sort of...
Plus 1.
Oh, you're right. It does have plus 1 damage.
Yeah.
So,
It'd be 5.
5. Should be 5.
correct. Alright, so you take out Mosquito, and it sort of glows this fiery red evil glow. You sort of bring it out, stab it right into the beast on your shoulder. You deal 5 points of damage to it, and you have 3 points of healing that returns to you. What was the one that's attached to you? Number 2. Alright.
And it's attached?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
it is attached.
Wait, it is attached?
Yes, when
Okay.
it makes an attack, it attaches to whoever it attacks.
I thought it attached. Okay.
All right, so
Nah, I was gonna fucking stab that detach real quick. Stupid fucking octopus things.
The masochist, man.
I guess so.
well, they are stupid. All right, so this guy's gonna slowly float down. He's gonna try and couple with the only one left in the room. Who is yet coupled with? So, he's going to. Oh, you're right. Well, he's gonna go for.
I feel like it'd be hard to find
Neutralize.
All
Alright. Alright, so this beastie slowly floats down the stairwell. Actually, since it's moving past all of you guys, you're open for an opportunity attack.
I'm definitely taking an opportunity attack.
Alright.
Well, I need to get health back too, so.
16.
Alright, 16 hits. I'll say both of you can take advantage of it since it moves
Never mind,
through
I'm
both
not
your
gonna hit
spaces.
Advantage?
What?
Did you say anything, something about advantage?
No, I'll say that both of you can since he's moving through both of your spaces.
Alright, so an opportunity attack. Well, I rolled a 16.
Yeah, 16 hits. What did you get?
The 3.
A 3, yeah, that's not going to hit.
6.
Alright. So, as this thing slowly floats by, you can feel like one of its tentacles graze you. You react rapidly, and you bring your ball and chain up and go whack right into the side of the beast. You can see it drip a few drops of blood out of its side as it continues on anyways over towards Vash. Alright. As it floats over towards Vash, Vash watches as the tentacles sort of spread and he beholds this sharp black beak snapping towards him. He brings up his shield and goes bonk. He dodges any damage that was trying to be dealt to him. So, Vash, since this guy's up close and personal now, he's going to target that same squid beast with his great sword. He's going to pull it out and attempt to hit it. So he takes out his great sword, goes shunk, he swings down. The squid's still sort of recoiling from the impact that you made from a shield, and he misses, unfortunately. Talia is going to take this turn to get back up onto her feet, which she does, and she's going to roll to try and remove the squid from her body. Unfortunately, yet again, the various tentacles are too much. They keep on sort of grabbing onto her body as she grabs some, lifts them up. Another few return in their place, and she's not able to make anything of it. All right, it's back up to the top. All right. So, I believe the second one is attached to Talia. So I'm going to have roll to hit with advantage. Alright, so this guy is still being attached to Talia, crunches down on her once again, dealing 8 points of damage to the druid. Alright, now it's down on you, Fang.
I'm going to take the help an ally action, and I'm going to go down towards Talia and begin pulling on the squid.
Alright, so
Which basically means on her next turn she'll have advantage.
I'll just have her roll for that again right now. So, alright. Unfortunately, even with your help, there's still just too many tentacles for both of you to handle. It continues to be attached to her body. Alright, so.
The cursed rolls are among us today, boys.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's because Rob's not here.
And number 3.
And it's because another person's not here either.
I thought he was here. Vash.
All right, so the squid on your body, you can feel him sort of try and crunch, but you sort of take your fist, and go punch. It sort of goes. Rah! That being the case, it is not able to bite you this turn. All right, so it's now on you, Magnus.
So I'm gonna try and stab him again.
All right, roll to hit.
15.
That hits.
And D4.
Yes, 1d4 plus 1.
3, 4, 5, 6. Plus Dex, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 6.
All right, so you bring out the blade and once again go stab right into pretty much the same wound that you made before. You deal an additional 6 points of damage.
And he heals off these, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
get half the damage dealt back. I'm getting there. About
Getting
a
you
little over half
three
health now.
3 points of health back to you. All right, so the one focusing Vash is going
Is he
to
dead yet?
no.
Fuck, this thing.
The guy is still trying to focus Vash. He's going to try and attack him again. The squid gets a little bit overzealous and ends up running itself straight into Vash's blade. Let's see here.
Oh, you rolled a 1, huh? Idiot.
Thank God. Otherwise, he'd also get split herpes.
I didn't even think of squid herpes. That's not cool.
Yeah, you and Tyler are infected. Freaking elves.
Alright, so because of this, he sort of bites down the blade and inadvertently slices one of his own tentacles off. He's dealt 8 points of damage. Vash, taking advantage of this, he's going to try and attack the beastie once again. Because of the way this squid reacted to the damage it took, it quickly detached itself from the blade, and the swing that he makes meets no purchase. Talia is going to cast Healing Word on herself. Actually, did she drink her potion? I'm not sure if she did.
I don't think she did.
Let's just say she didn't drink her potion yet. So, she's going to drink her potion as a bonus action. She receives 8 points of health. And she is, once again... Actually, you know what? She's just going to use her flaming hands and just attempt to roast the guy on her shoulder. God damn it. Get back here.
No potion?
What?
She's not drinking her potion now?
Yeah, she drank her potion.
Oh.
Drinking a potion, I made a house rule that you can use it as a bonus action.
Right. But I thought you were like, she's gonna drink her potion, but nah, she's gonna do flaming hand. I was confused.
Alright, I was going to try and have her pull off the squid again, but then I realized, you know what, she may as well do Flaming Hands, which hits. So.
I'm just afraid you might fail the hell. Because I don't want to get in that one, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alright, so she, having drank her potion, she's fed up and now angry because this guy won't get off her shoulder. She goes, "Argh!" In doing so, this intense fiery hose just envelops the squid in question. It almost smells pleasant in a way. Precisely. And with her doing so, the squid drops off of her shoulder and lands limply on the floor. Alright, Fang, it's on you.
I'm gonna look and see Magnus stabbing the shit out of the one on his shoulder. Figure he's got this one. I'm gonna run over to the one that's floating around Vash, and I'm gonna attempt to make an attack on it.
Alright, go for it.
Oh, that's
That hits. Roll for damage.
That's a fat hit. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage.
All right, so you run over. The squid's too preoccupied with trying to attack Magnus. You go, boom, boom, whoop, push. You smack it so hard it flies to the other side of the room. Bam, bam, lands against the side of the workbench. A few tools fall on top of it. Goes, and eventually, its flailing about ceases.
Fuck yeah.
All right, so this guy is still attached to your shoulder. So, Magnus, he's going to try and continue biting you. Okay. All right, so this squid is starting to get infuriated by the amount of damage it's taking. It goes crunch, crunch. It deals 10 points of damage to you.
Christ. Not cool.
That being said, it is now on you.
I'm gonna shock and grasp.
I'm gonna say, you motherfucker. I'm gonna stab it again.
All right.
6. Nope.
Yeah, that will not hit. All right, so Vash, it's
Wait.
now on him.
Bonus action? I still have half my potion left.
Yes. I mean, you still have the 6 points of healing that you rolled for that previously.
Yeah, so I'm gonna down that.
All right.
Up to 10.
So you sort of pop the cork off the rest of your potion, go. You sort of toss it on the floor, take your dagger once again, try and stab it, but the feverish gnawing of this squid is making it behave erratically, and you're not able to find any sort of purchase on its flesh. All right, it's back down onto Vash now. He is going to run over to your side.
Yeah. Oh, Rob's here. Come on in. Kaboom!
All right, let's see here. All right, so Vash is going to take his greatsword out, run over, and attempt to slice the guy off his shoulder. He runs over, takes out his greatsword. All right, so he takes his greatsword out. He sort of tosses his shield on the ground, runs over, slice. Fang watches as this squid gets chopped right in half. The snapping sort of eventually subsides, and it sort of limply rolls off of his shoulder and slams into the ground, meaning combat is now over.
Word.
That's handy seat. Yep. Whatever happened to that character sheet that I printed out?
I gave it to her.
Oh,
And
right.
here
duh.
is your handy dandy notebook.
Huh.
And he's gonna. Did you bring your own dice? No.
Yeah, that's fine. We got
Some
dice for you here. Pick your poison. Let's see here.
I'm gonna scream out to Vash. Nice one.
Vash sort of smiles and chuckles. He turns around and gives you a thumbs up. He resheathes his greatsword and walks over and picks his shield up off of the ground. Talia sort of sighs, sort of tenderly rubbing the area where the squid had bitten into her. It seems to be bleeding quite quite profusely now. She seems more aggravated than anything.
Get comfortable. Just like I bailed. Just like someone else I know.
You call in Vulpix.
Oh, Opus came in?
Alright, so Talia is going to set her hand on her shoulder and she's going to cast Cure Wounds on herself. Alright.
Fucking sticker. That's why I often hate these things, because you can just huck it in here quick and I'll just tear it straight away.
She heals herself for 6 points of damage.
They hate me for that. This is you, Rob. This is you today. Just running around with a fucking knife and stabbing people. Licking the blood off like Sting.
Alright, luckily for you, we didn't find you yet, so.
Alright, so I'm gonna use my fucking blade on one of these things, flay off some of its tentacles, and throw it on that fire.
Alright, so.
We'll make some calamari quick. Best, I'm eating these fuckers.
I don't think there's a fire in here.
I thought
This is like
this
a forge.
I thought there was a forge and this was a work table.
That is a grinding stone and that's a
Oh,
work table. There's no
damn it.
So
So I'm just gonna chop off a few tentacles and sack them away.
Alright, so you lean down and you pick up the squid that was previously attached to your shoulder. You sort of lean down, grab its tentacles in your hand, sort of all up in a bunch. You go slice, marking in your inventory +6 Dark Mantle tentacles.
I'll give you an extra piece of paper. We sort of just have a running list of like spell slots, health you use, shade pick up, and stuff like that.
Give like a little pad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Need to have this out, don't I? It's kind of important. It's the area map. Need that.
Is Talia standing it?
Yeah, she stood up on one of her turns. So she just healed herself with Cure Wounds. So the wound is since closed. She stopped bleeding, but her leather armor is now stained.
So I'm gonna be like, can anyone else like help a guy out here? As I'm like profusely dripping blood out of my shoulder after getting half of it gnawed off.
I don't have any spell slots.
Fuck. You don't have any,
You did a long rest. How do you not have?
No.
Yeah, he did a short rest.
Oh,
He wasn't able
that's
to get a
right.
long rest yet. Alright, so Tali says, alright, I guess I can oblige. So she walks over, and what HP are you at?
I'm at 10.
10 HP. What's your HP max?
23.
Alright, so she's going to use, let's see here. She's going to use her Cure Wounds as a first level spell. Oh, that's the wrong dice for that. She's going to walk over, put her hand on your shoulder, and cast her natural energy out into you. You feel a warm tingling sensation as your flesh pulls back together as you're healed for 8 points.
Alright, I'm gonna say, Pierre, where the fuck did you go?
Pierre, at this point, is he's on the roof, like over here, over by the doorway. He's still there from when he distracted the drow initially. He sort of looks over at you and he gives you this, why are you talking to me in that tone of voice kind of look.
Like, sorry, I just got fucking destroyed by an octopus. I go, you know what to do, give him a wink, and
Got squid eggs, Pierre.
have him, actually, I need to roll for stealth again for him.
Right, this is a door, by the way, in case you want to check that out.
Oh, true.
And also, this is a chest, just to remind you.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna roll for stealth.
Alright, 13 with a +2 modifier. Alright, so, let's see here.
For reference, Pierre is my familiar that I made into a chameleon And he acts as my scout.
Let's see here. All right. All right, so Pierre slowly sort of lengths down this hallway. He sort of protrudes himself out there, and he looks around, and he finds himself in this sort of alcove, or alcove's not a good word for that. He finds himself in this, going down this uncharacteristically straight stairwell. He notices that the headroom is especially high. The steps lead down into a circular room with 5 openings within, 4 of which have dry, old wooden stoppers at the end of what appear to be rails. Across the room from you, there is a rectangular iron cart with not a lick of rust. That would be right here.
Bro, we riding on a cart now.
He looks around. It doesn't seem to be. There doesn't seem to be anybody in there.
Alright. You said this is a chest?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna open it.
All right. So you walk over to the chest. Let's see here. You walk over to the chest. You sort of grab the lid and attempt to pull it up. You hear it go thunk. It seems to be locked closed.
Can I search either of these bodies and see if anybody in here's got a key?
Sure. So you go over to each drow and let's see here. You walk over to one drow and you find 4 gold pieces on one. You search closely, but you're not able to find anything as far as keys go. You go to the other body, you find 7 gold pieces on him, but
7?
yes, but he doesn't seem to have any gold coins either. He does, however, have a hand crossbow that looks rather haphazardly put together.
I'm gonna walk over to this door. Is it locked?
Alright, so you walk over to the door and you put your hand on the door handle, or lack thereof. It's more of a handle that is just like a metal loop. So you grab it and you push it inwards, doesn't budge, but you pull it outwards and it creaks open a bit. This seems to be some sort of stock room. Let's see here.
I want to know what's in this chest.
Alright, so inside this room you find far more weapons that were in the armory that was closer to the surface. There's a variety of hand crossbows, what looks to be recently sharpened blades. There's a small handful of red cloaks, similarly to what you found in the surface, closer to the surface. But that's all you can really find.
What type of weapon class does hand crossbows fall under?
Like what ability score would be?
No, are they like simple weapons?
There's a category literally stated hand crossbows.
Oh, okay, then I'm definitely
This
not
guy
proficient.
can use them.
Correct. This room is rather dirty. It's kind of just a menagerie of equipment just sort of strewn together. So with that being said, you can see some stuff buried underneath a variety of blades.
So can I do an investigation? See if I can find anything maybe hidden.
All right. Sure. Roll for investigation then.
15.
All right. So you poke around some, being careful not to cut yourself on the freshly sharpened blades. Eventually, you find a small quiver. Inside, you see a variety of like metallic bolts. They look to be the same kind that the drow that shot you just a few moments ago were using.
So I'm gonna pick those up so I can do a little research on them later.
All right. So,
See if we can replicate the poison or something like that.
all right. So mark in your inventory 5 drow bolts.
Does Vash have a crossbow or no?
Vash has a crossbow, yes, but these are shorter. They're designed to be used in a hand crossbow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can I carry the chest with me?
Roll for strength.
Where's my d20? 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh.
All right, so you lean down, you get a firm footing, you slowly lift off. Ah! This chest is very dense. It apparently it's full of something.
Take the shit out.
It's locked.
Oh, it's locked.
It's locked, Magnus.
Fuck, if only we had a thief. Well,
We could try breaking into it.
I'm assuming it's a key.
Right? I mean, you can still try and maybe like.
Pry it open.
I mean,
Do you have a crowbar? I know he got a crowbar in his gear kit when he started out.
Vash says he has carpenter's tools that might include a crowbar. So, let me look up what carpenter tools have. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. Carpenter tools do not contain any crowbars. I feel like someone might still have a crowbar since you hung on to it when you're going to Agathos for some reason. I feel like somebody has a crowbar anyways.
Yeah, me, I got no crowbar.
I have a component pouch, whatever that means.
That's just full of herbs and shit.
No, I don't have anything marked on those. Well, we can come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come in. I'll I guess I'll just throw the trunk down.
Yeah, I picked it up.
Right, so you sort of, you lift it up maybe like a quarter of an inch and you sort of settle it back on the floor. A small cloud of dust sort of picks up. That being said, you notice that there's like a small layer of dust on pretty much everything in this room. It seems to be recently repurposed. The tabletop and things that seem to have been recently used, however, have been cleared of their dust. But the top of this chest, you can see like some hand marks as if people have tried the same thing that you just attempted, Fang, but they apparently had similar lack of success.
Alright, you ready to proceed?
Yeah.
I'm gonna head down to the big old circular room.
Alright. Let's see here.
I'm gonna have Pierre get up on the ceiling to check for stalactites. I'm gonna walk down here as well and stuff.
Alright, so Pierre sort of peeks up to the ceiling, and you sort of step in and look towards the ceiling as well. You look around, and there doesn't seem to be any stalactites. The roof of this area is maybe like 8 feet.
Okay. There's these fucking octopus things that stick to the ceiling that look like stalactites that will just float down instead of touching you. So be aware. So keep paying my house.
Alright, so you go into this room, and everybody now can see that there's just 4 separate tracks that go to separate little caves.
I'm gonna go up to the cart thing and sort of see if it'll move at all, or if it's like kind of locked in place.
Alright, roll for strength.
Is that 19?
That is a 19, actually. Holy shit.
Yep.
I think I'm just a 0 for strength. Yeah, 0.
Let's see here. Alright, so you sort of give it a quick crunk, crunk. This cart in particular feels as if it hasn't been messed with in a while, but nonetheless, you sort of get it to begin rolling. That being said, it doesn't seem to want to stop.
Uh-oh.
It's at a manageable speed now, but it's sort of carrying you along with it.
Let it ride?
That's right, dude.
Oh, we're gonna get into it?
I mean, you can try and stop it.
Yeah, I'll try and stop it, just in case, because at least it can move. 11.
11.
We'll look around, panic.
Vash sees this begin rolling. He's like, oh shit. So he runs over and gets over with you next to this cart. Have you update your position.
I can run over and grab the other side.
Alright, so everybody runs over and attempts to grab this cart. I'll have Magnus. You can roll again with advantage. And the difficulty class for this is now reduced since there's so many people grabbing onto it.
20.
Nice.
Step back, bitches.
So everybody sort of grabs onto it, goes, boom. Eventually, with like 1 or 2 steps, you get it to cease movement. But not before it moves down the track like a little bit.
Is there anything in it?
Give it a look.
As I'm holding on to the back, I'll take a gander inside the cart.
Alright.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll have Pierre go do a little peek down each little railway as far as he can go without being out of range.
Alright. Hold on. Okay, so where is he going to start? Like this one or this one?
Well, there's the one pointing towards Will.
Alright, so let's see here. So Pierre sort of hops up into here, and you can see that it doesn't go very far, and at the end of this, it sort of explains why there's no minecart, because down here, there just seems to be this pit that just leads into darkness.
Alright, so on to the next one.
Alright, this one?
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. so you can see that this one is led down at a pretty, it's definitely at a gradient, and down at the very bottom, you see that there's a minecart down here that's definitely slammed into the wall. You can see like a variety of like little pebbles and gravel that has been broken off the wall from the sheer impact of this car rolling down it.
Can I have Pierre do an investigation on the cart to see if there's anything inside of it?
Pierre walks over to the cart and peeks inside. There doesn't seem to be any thing inside the cart. However, you can still roll for investigation anyways.
10.
Alright, let's see here. Are you like controlling Pierre or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sort of droning Pierre.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll let you use your investigation stat.
Yeah.
So that's 10 anyways. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so you sort of look up and down using your dark sight, and the only interesting thing about this tunnel, at least, is that there's just a minecart down at the very end of it.
Alright, so down the last road.
This one or this one?
The one that's not, we haven't gone down yet.
Alright, let's see here. Oh, by the way, this one I just filled in. Nobody went down there yet. This one continues on, sort of just like this. Let's see here.
If I'm not mistaken, you should have a range of 60 feet.
Correct. Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Well, you're drawing on what?
God damn it. There you go. That works better. Alright, let's see here.
Oh. Sadly, wasn't there a bridge down here or some shit?
Yes, I forgot to fill that in, so let me do that. This one just doesn't seem to want to work at all.
Bad.
Down all the way over here, there's a suspension bridge that goes across and into the other cave over here.
Whoa.
Okay. All right. So, alright, so where's Pierre then? He went down that.
Yeah.
Alright, so as Pierre walks down that path in particular, you could hear like the sound of voices picking up, and eventually He reaches this section of the cart that overlooks this what looks to be a sort of mess hall area. Looking down, there is a grand central table, and on each side there are 5 drow on one side and 5 red brands on the other. On the front of the room, closer to the main door, there is what appears to be 1 senior drow and 1 senior red brand, giving what seems to be a verbal presentation on their goals in Neverwinter, why the drows revolve, so on and so forth. Basically saying, alright, so I understand that there's been some logistical issues between the red brands, humans, and the drow. That is going to be inherent as we speak different languages. However, nonetheless, we are still working towards a certain goal. It'd be much appreciated if everybody got along just long enough for us to achieve our objectives. Now, with that being said, the Lost Mine. I'm sure many people have questions about the Lost Mine of Phandelver and what we have to do with it. Well, what it means for us, if you're not familiar with the story, there is a mine close to the town of Phandalin. We have located where this may be. If we are able to find it, that means massive profits for us and a huge source of power for our cause. Within, there lies the Forge of Spells, which allows you to manifest any sort of magical item that you wish. Anybody is able to use it. It doesn't take a genius. So with that being said, why are we in Neverwinter? Well, I'm sure some of you have heard about the Honey Bears. The Honey Bears are a group who seem to, shall I say, seek an end to our goals in this organization. That being said, they're a highly dangerous group. The only reason we know about them is because Glassstaff survived an encounter with them about a week ago. If you're to see a group including a half-orc paladin, an elven wizard, an elven druid, and a human fighter, those are who we're looking for. The half-elven druid is known by the name of Talia. With the information that was granted to me by my superiors, Talia and the Glassstaff have a sort of relationship. They know each other from a while back. Why Talia is resurfacing now, we're not sure. Maybe she has some sort of personal vendetta against us. That being said, they are incredibly dangerous. Keep an eye out for them. Do not be afraid to call for assistance. They have overwhelmed many forces like us before. As a matter of fact, I've heard murmurs about there being an attack even earlier today. That being said, they may have already made their arrival, so be on your best. Now, of course, for your labor involved in this danger and whatnot, I can personally guarantee a life of glory, great dealings for you and your next of kin, be that advantages with gold, housing, so on and so forth. Consider this an army of sorts. For your continued services, there will be continued benefits. Now, I believe I covered my bases. He sort of looks over to his drowish companion. As they were talking, Pierre noticed that the drow was translating into Undercommon. Both parties seemed to be listening attentively. The Red Brand Superior eventually speaks up. He says, "Well, will there be any questions?" There's a bit of time where some people eventually raise their hand, ask a question, continue conversing for a little while, but they seem to be beginning to wrap up this conversation.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn everyone in the room and basically tell them what I just heard through Pierre. And then we got, what was it, like 12 people down there?
Yes.
We got a dozen people down there holding a fucking powwow. So, what do we want to do? Want to fucking rip them up?
I don't know I don't know.
Because I'm almost afraid to roll that cart down there and have it crash.
Right.
And then,
Be trapped.
yeah.
Not even. Just be loud enough to alert them.
Well, are those tracks something we can walk down?
Yes. This, the only reason why you're able to hear all of this is because those tracks are sort of suspended over the mess hall area.
Oh, they're suspended over it.
Yes.
Oh, and this is a pathway?
Yes, that's just a
Gotcha.
pathway nobody's went down yet.
Okay. So I'm gonna look at fucking. Actually, I might. If we could ambush these guys. Because I know the layout of the room. Obviously, there's a pathway over here and a pathway there. The rooms are probably gonna connect.
Right. We can definitely set up an ambush.
We could throw the cart down at the end of the tunnel to have them scurry out.
Well, there is no cart on this tunnel here.
Right, but if we push that cart down, I'm assuming it would make enough noise to kind of alert people.
Right.
Alright, is that what you want to do?
Might as well. If we all jump in that cart, I feel like we're gonna crash at the bottom of it anyways and take some damage.
Right.
Even though it'd be fun.
I mean, the cart seemed to want it to roll on its own, so.
Alright, fuck it, let's do it.
Okay.
Well, so nobody wants to get into positions first.
Right, that's what I was just gonna do. I was gonna go up to the corner of this door here.
I mean, just because those guys are there doesn't mean that you need to kill them. I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, obviously.
Alright, just saying.
Alright, I'm assuming,
That's my way of warning you, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright, we doing this?
I don't know, because now that warning is making me nervous.
It's a dozen red brands. Well, 6 red brands, 6 drow.
And no spell slots.
I have my spell slots.
Yeah. He has a spell slots and
I don't think we should do it.
Okay.
I don't. That being said, though, I'm totally down to explore what's at the end of this tunnel.
Okay. Let's go.
I'm
Where are
gonna
these
walk.
guys?
I'm gonna make my way past the cart and walk my way down.
Alright, just you?
Is anybody else coming?
I'll walk with you.
Alright, so.
Because Vinny can't see at nighttime and Talia can, so at least she
Right,
can.
so.
This room is dark, I'm assuming?
No, there are some torch sconces in the center area. The, tunnels, however, are not illuminated.
Okay, so I'll walk down with,
Alright. Alright, so Vash and Talia are gonna hold the rear and watch out. Alright, so, you walk right on down the path. I'd say, roll for perception.
Oh, that's a 2.
12.
I got 4.
I think my perception's plus. Where are you? So that'd be 13.
Alright, so, let's see here. Hopefully you can read that.
Oh, and obviously I would Pierre recalled
So,
to me.
what the fun is that?
D20.
He'll be in my hood. Per usual.
You can use the soft skill.
So, what is it? Here?
Yes.
So, +5.
Alright. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, so what did everybody get?
I got a 4.
I ended up getting a 13.
Alright, so Fang sort of walks down and you enter this dark room. It seems like this is just looked to be like what the main sort of path was going to be. There's still like some massive rocks and boulders down here, stones and pebbles and whatnot. You're more concerned with looking into the rocks. Magnus, however, looks up, and there he spies a half-elf hanging from the ceiling, staring down at you two.
I'm gonna look up and be like, Fang?
I'm looking at the rocks.
Whoa, Magnus.
I'm just gonna like...
I look over to you, I see you pointing up, and I look up, and I see the person hanging from the ceiling, and I go, well, that ain't good. How'd you get up there?
He's talking to you, bitch.
Hi.
So the half-elf on the ceiling, saying that both of these guys' eyes are trained directly on him, he nervously blurts out, "Hello."
I'm gonna slowly reach my hood for Pierre and have him at the ready.
Alright, so you slowly reach back for Pierre and you hold him like a grenade. Pierre sort of begins biting at your fingers like, no, 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 no.
You're about to throw your lizard at me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up at him and be like, so how'd you get up there?
With my crowbar.
Seems legit.
I look down puzzled. A crowbar. Well, anyway, I look at Magnus. How are we gonna get him down?
I'm gonna look at Pierre.
Pierre looks back at you, Magnus, and he's silent. He doesn't seem to understand.
I'm just gonna go and double underhand toss him up and have him stick to Rob.
Alright, so you
What's
sort
your
of...
character name? Did you make one?
I'll go with Klaus.
Klaus. Alright, so you sort of take Pierre in your hands, you go, huck! He sort of raises up and roll for Pierre's. Let's go with acrobatics.
Here we go.
Well, I don't know what his acrobatics
That
are.
would be under
Mine would
dexterity,
be
so
dex.
I will have it be a +1 for Pierre's
So it'll be
dexterity.
14.
Alright, so Pierre, you toss him up to the ceiling. You sort of miss this half-elf that's hanging, and he sort of grabs onto the ceiling with one of his suction cup-like hands. He sort of dangles there from his 1 foot. He's not able to get like a full grip, but eventually he sort of pulls himself up, and now he's hanging suspended upside down, staring at this half-elf that's just sort of hanging there.
I'm gonna have him snap his tongue at his grip.
Alright, so Pierre, he looks at this guy's hand. He sort of looks at his fingers. His tongue goes snap, and he snaps it out at his fingertips. I'd say roll for a charisma, Rob.
Charisma? Wisdom stuff?
Yes.
12. And what, +2?
Yes.
So 14.
All right, so Pierre, trying to scare the shit out of you to have you fall, he stabs down at you. You flinch, but you sort of retain your grip nonetheless.
I kicked the lizard.
All right, so I'm gonna have you roll for.
How are you gonna kick someone upside down?
I'm gonna have you roll for athletics, since you're removing one of your hands from your grip.
7.
All right,
Yeah,
so
all right.
athletics, I think, would be underneath strength.
That's still 7.
All right, so you sort of take your hand, you sort of reach out to swat away this strange lizard, but as you do so, you feel your grip on your right hand begin to slip, and as you do so, you begin to fall down towards the earth. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
This one still?
Yep.
Yes.
16 plus 3, so 19.
19. All right, so you indeed fall, but you're able to control your fall enough, so you sort of tumble in the air and you end up landing on your feet. Now you're just standing there looking at this huge half orc, fully clad in heavy armor, and this high elf who appears to be a wizard staring down at you, partially broken wooden staff in hand.
So, who are you?
Nobody, just forget that you saw me.
I look over to Magnus.
What do you want to do?
Well, we turn around, he's gonna stab us in the back. We don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Right.
So, what the fuck are you doing hiding in this weird cave, bro?
Can I do this intimidation thing?
If you want to intimidate them, go for it.
Alright, so just roll for intimidation.
Yes.
No.
All right. You and you roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
There's a dot at the bottom of the 6.
Yes, that's a
6 plus my charisma modifier.
Right.
I got a 9.
All right. So you got a 9. You got a 9 as well. And Rob got what?
11.
All right. So him just standing there, you can see him put his hand down, reaching for his dagger. You sort of feel your limbs tense as you watch this guy. For some reason, he seems like maybe we should just leave this guy alone. Because he succeeded in his intimidation, I'm going to say you are partially fearful, so some things you're going to have to roll advantage or disadvantage on if you want to try and do something to him.
So, I'm gonna have Pierre scurry back up the tunnel to give Vash and Talia a heads up that we found a fucking weird bat elf down here.
All right, so Pierre scurries up the tunnel. Talia is sort of looking over her shoulder now that she's hearing voices, and she sees Pierre surface from the darkness. He says, "We have a potential new associate, perhaps. Come and say hello, maybe?" Talia sort of looks up at him, looks over at Vash. Vash looks over at Talia. They sort of stare at each other. Talia speaks up. "What do you mean?"
So we gotta tell him, come down and find out.
All right, so Talia sort of sighs, looks over at Vash. She says, "I'll be right back." She sort of hops over
The blind guy. Oh, it's lit.
right. She hops over the minecart and sort of wanders down the tracks leading to where she can see the back of Fang and Magnus standing, sort of blocking the exit, facing towards someone. Eventually, she makes it all the way down and sees this strange cloaked figure standing there, sort of in a combative stance.
So I'm gonna look back at you, Rob, and say, "Not so tough now, huh?"
Alright. I'm gonna ask if they're with the druids.
Gonna ask if they were with a
Yeah,
druid.
are you guys with the druids?
The druids.
Isn't that the Drew, right? That's what it is?
The drow.
Drow. Okay.
Alright, so yes, if you guys are working with a drow.
So I'm gonna be like, "You see my fucking skin? I ain't no dark elf. We were here to massacre red brands, And it just so happens that the drow's working with him. And FYI, there's a room down the hallway here where we got 12 of them. So if you're here to spill some blood that's not ours, we might be able to work out a deal.
Alright. I accept your terms.
So I'm going to say you can lead your way back up here. We'll follow you. We got just to forewarn you, we have another buddy waiting at the top of the cart entrance there. So don't be alarmed when you see another dude up there.
Alright. Name's Klaus, by the way.
Klaus. Never remember that. Klaus. I'm
As you walk
Magnus.
past me, I tilt my head and say, I'm Fag.
Oh, where's Droop? Well, we got a guy we gotta introduce you to.
The droop is still up by Vash.
We have a little a goblin we befriended, and he's been following us around. We've been edging him on to kill people. He's fighting back. So we'll return back up to our original spot there. Actually, can I investigate that room while we're there anyways, just to see if there's anything down there?
Alright, sure, go ahead and roll for investigation.
Oh, 19.
19. Alright,
Plus
so
5, bitch.
you sort of squint your eyes as everybody sort of begins shambling up the mine tracks. You look around and eventually you see a glimmer in the darkness.
So I'm gonna slowly walk up to the glimmer.
Alright, so you walk over to the glimmer and you can see positioned lowly in the wall to the southwest corner, there seems to be the surface of a gem peeking out of the rock wall.
So I'm gonna pull out the mosquito and sort of and try and get it out from the wall.
Alright, I'll say roll for dexterity.
I'm bad at dexterity. Yep.
Alright, so you
+2.
Alright, so you take the pointed edge of the mosquito and you sort of begin chiseling into the wall, sort of taking
Wait, don't we have pickaxes?
the palm and sort of slapping it into the surface of the stone. This it does not seem like Vash has any pickaxes. There was, however, a stockroom up there with some pickaxes as well.
Oh, okay. So I didn't get it out?
No, I forgot to mention that. There are like a handful of mining tools still in there, but they haven't been touched in what looks like hundreds of years.
Where I'm at right now.
Where you're at, no.
Okay, but up top here.
I mean, like in this room.
Right. Okay. Well, shall be back for you later, beauty. And I'll turn around and follow the rest of them up there. Because Talia's men would be able to make those like brand new again, right? Those pickaxes?
Yes.
Okay, so. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck's your name again? Klaus. Like Klaus. You don't fuck us over, I might give you that gem I'm down in that cavern.
Alright, you.
Have you explored any of the other area while you were down here? Does he have any insight?
I don't know. That comes down to him. Not to put pressure on you.
Well, because I'm going to tell you, down there we found a fucking pit of doom. There's still supposed to be some sort of entrance to the Underdark where the Drow come from. So I was just going to ask you if you've done any exploring, if you have any information of where we are, or if you entered from this way and we entered from this way, you know what I mean? So maybe you have some input that could help us out.
He entered from the same spot that you guys came from. This is as far as he went, to my understanding.
Alright.
This was the first time I went down.
So why are you even down here to begin with?
Looking for the entrance of Underdark.
Okay. Well, at least our goals align for now. So as we walk up here, I'm gonna tell you that down here, obviously, that's where the group is coming from. I'm gonna have Pierre go down this entry way and see if there's anything. If the hallways connect,
Alright, so
and see if there's been any movement inside of there.
let's see if you're gonna behave.
That's better. Alright, so he ventures down this hallway, and you can see that there's a bit of steps that leads down, but eventually it leads to a landing. This goes all the way out to over here, where you see there is a door right at this end. Though you can't fucking see it because his mark is dying. All the way down this end, there is a door, and seems to be a pathway that leads down over here. That's all that you're able to see. There is a door at the end of this hallway, though.
Okay.
So Klaus, are you competent in combat?
Somewhat.
So we can trust you to rely on yourself?
Yep.
Okay.
So are we gonna try and sneak by these guys? Or are we gonna jump right into some heavy-handed combat?
I mean, we can try to sneak. I got disadvantage on sneak.
I know, but this door down
That
here
door
is
is closed. So
But we could have a whole scenario where he fell down a flight of stairs again. So
he's not carrying anything, so he should be fine.
That's right, you carried a dead body.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't dead, he was a prisoner.
Yeah.
Alright. So, yeah. Let's try and sneak down there past the doorway.
Okay.
See what happens.
See what happens. See what's in the dice.
Up here, Joe, did this it cut off?
That's where it pretty much stops.
Okay.
That
So
just
it's
meets
not
a
like
rock face.
Okay, gotcha. Oh. Pierre on the ceiling to check for stalactites as he's going.
Oh, like down here?
Right.
I'm
I'm just literally, every time I'm moving him, I'm going to have him be like up on the ceiling level to be able to
Alright,
check
so
for that.
you sort of, as you're walking over there, you sort of huck him onto the ceiling. He grabs onto it and he proceeds down that hallway. He immediately sees, after going down the sloped stairway leading downwards, the roof of this place is maybe like 8 feet above the floor. There are no stalactites.
Okay. So, do we have to roll for stealth, or can we just walk down there?
I will say everybody that's going that way needs to roll for stealth.
Boom, 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 boom.
Am I going with you boys?
It's up to you, buddy.
Everybody will have advantage since the door is closed.
Okay, so I'll get 10 for stealth then.
Just trying. Oh god, I rolled a 3. I got a 5.
Jesus.
That's 2.
Everybody still has advantage, so
Yeah,
you can roll
oh, yeah,
twice and
that's
take
right.
the higher value.
I can't.
Right, you can't because you already had disadvantage.
There we
on this.
go. That'll be 20.
So like roll again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can roll again and take the higher value.
So 16.
All right, so everybody makes their way down the stairway. Everybody is sort of making their way down. Everybody is being careful, watching their steps. You can sort of hear a slight clamor of chairs moving inside the room right next to you as you pass by the doorway. Everybody's about here. Fang, however, he is not used to being in such a low stance in his heavy armor, so eventually he sort of trips and sort of falls onto his stomach right beside the door. He pauses and he stares intensely at the doorway. You can hear footsteps moving towards the door.
Can I...
Everybody's pretty much where Fang is right now.
Can I hurriedly get behind this... around the corner?
Yes, there's also a room right down there, by the way.
Right, but the door's closed, right?
Yes.
Right. So I'm just gonna try and be like, fuck, and sneak around the corner and sort of peek out around the edge.
Can I try that too?
Yeah,
Can I go around the corner?
Yeah, everybody can do that, basically.
Let's go back to the main room.
Alright, so where are you going to go? Mark it on the map with some fucking marker. Oh, shit.
He's got blue dice. Go in the blue marker.
Oh, you know what? Yes, I will let you use this blue die right here to represent your position. Alright, so... pretty much the entire party runs around this corner, and they all stand there. As they do so, Klaus sort of panics in the moment and just goes the other way and stands here and watches down the hallway. As everybody gets in position, not even one moment after, the doors swing open, and you can hear a slight clamor of people beginning to walk out. So you're going to be peeking around the corner?
Yes.
Roll for a separate stealth.
Seven.
All right, so you're peeking around this corner, and as everybody is walking out, you notice that there's like a few passing glances over down towards that door, but none of them seem to meet your gaze. They all sort of begin funneling down this direction, leading upwards.
Uh-oh.
Does Klaus see this?
Klaus can hear the voices coming towards his direction.
I'm gonna go down this tunnel.
All right, roll for another stealth.
So,
You got 10.
10.
All right. Okay, so, let's see, man.
Rolls are tough out here today, boys.
Would not recommend.
All right, so you sort of run around this corner. As you do so, you sort of slip over like a couple of small pebbles over here, and you sort of slam onto the floor as you do so. The Red Brand, the senior Red Brand is right here, and he watches like a set of feet go around this corner, sort of scurrying, trying to evade their line of sight.
You still have other two people are here though, don't you?
That is Vash and Talia. Those guys moved over with these dudes, so they're not really even there. Alright, so he sort of draws his sword. He sort of looks over at his drow compatriot. He says, "Stay here." He walks over, and you can hear the stomping sound of his footsteps approaching. Let's see here. We're gonna do an interesting thing here. We're gonna do
Here comes combat.
I'm not sure what it's called.
Roll initiative.
A skill challenge, let's say. So he begins walking over here. You're about here at this point. Let's see here.
You got this.
He's
You're
about
alone.
right
Stop
here.
Your spiel.
You're just barely out of his line of sight, so I'm going to have you roll a dexterity to see if you can get out of his line of sight before he makes it all the way down.
This is your skill, man. Oh no!
That's 8. Right?
Yes.
No, that's 6. Dexterity said right there, so
Yes.
6.
All right. So, as he walks around this corner, he
I heard the kobold open. That thing will blast out that front door. Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
he can he watches as he sees the half of this half-elf body just sprint down this hallway. He takes off in a full sprint, says, "Hey, get back here!"
Do we hear him say that down the hall?
Do we hear the echo?
Yes, and at this point, you can hear like a general rising of clamor, and a few other swords begin to unsheath.
So at this point,
This is empty, right?
Yes, that room is now empty.
oh okay, you're there. You can see, but I don't know.
Alright, so I kind of just jumped down to that room.
Make an acrobatics check. That
This one's
platform is
low.
about 15 feet above the
There you go.
And +5.
+5. So that's
21.
like an unnatural 20. So you sort of run over. There's like a wooden fence sort of gating off the side that's leading down into the room below. You sort of lift your legs over and you sort of hop down. Wham! You land on the table below. As you do so, this guy is just coming down over here and he sees you down on the table below. He says, "Damn it!" This door is still open and you can see there's one drow sort of still facing this direction.
So, sneak attack.
Well, if you want, but there's a whole fuck ton of other guys over here.
Oh, so the entire room is going up there.
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha. I thought it was just the commander and something like that. Okay. Well, there is still this door over here that no one knows what's in there. Just turn around and tell me now.
Alright, I'll escape to this room.
All right, so you rapidly run over here. So you go over to that door. There is a door there, by the way. How do you want to open it?
Quietly.
Yeah, quietly.
All right, so you run over there and you carefully grab onto the doorknob and you slowly push open. You see this room leads into what looks to be a sort of kitchen area. There's a hearth right there, there's an oven. It doesn't seem to be running.
Calamari.
I'm actually quite hungry myself.
There's a wood stove over here that's going, and there's also a bench right here.
Klaus gets introduced. Literally not 5 minutes later gets ganked.
Oh, that was fun.
All right, so you're basically right there. This guy is going to attempt to do the exact same thing you did. He hucks himself over the wall there.
This is a Supreme Commander now, boys. Let's see what they're capable of.
At least it's a hallway, so these guys are gonna get burnt to a crisp anyways.
Yeah.
If they come
Right.
back.
So he sort of hucks himself over the wall, or the fence here. Let's see here. Hucks himself over the fence. However, his foot catches, slams, chest first down onto that table. Wham! At this point, a couple of drows sort of peek their head back into this room. They sort of look in here as this commander had just fallen face first down onto that table. He just took 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
There doesn't look like any place to hide.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Okay, then maybe hide in the oven.
Didn't have like a illusion spell or something?
You know, I never had the opportunity to write down what spells you have, so let me get this out.
There's a investigation. And then it goes
All right,
to-
so
Oh,
this
an arcane trickster?
you do have disguise self.
Boy.
disguise self.
Yes.
Yep.
Alright.
spell.
The spell.
What do you do? Exactly.
That's the options presented to you. Do what you will.
No, for the spell.
Yeah.
What does it do? What is asking?
Disguise self, if I'm not mistaken, is that you can change the way you appear. Let's see, disguise self 5e. You make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends, or until you use an action to dismiss it. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller, and can appear thin, fat, or anything in between. Alright.
You could change your skin color too, right? Couldn't he make himself look like a drow?
I mean, he could. The changes wrought by the spell fail to hold up to physical inspection. For example, if you use the spell to add a hat to your outfit, objects pass through the hat. To discern that you are disguised, a creature can use its action to inspect your appearance and must succeed in an intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC.
Okay. So, disguise myself as a drow.
Alright, so you're sort of running out of options. You're like, fuck. So you go, you change your skin tone, you give yourself longer elven ears, and you just stand there and you attempt to look busy. You lean down, you sort of look inside the stove. As you do so, this guy comes around the corner, he busts in, he's like, "Who are you?" He just stares down at this drow. He looks at you, and did you change your clothes or anything? Alright.
No.
Well, that would make sense, I guess.
Can I do like all of that, like this?
Yeah, so you can
So, yeah.
change every aspect about
No,
it.
I just look like just one of them, like a normal drow soldier.
Alright, so you change into your you got a quick glance at what one of the drow were wearing. It looked like a chain shirt and maybe some like leather-ish boots. So you change yourself into that, you alter your eye color, and as he busts into the doorway, you look over with your blood red eyes, and both of you just stare at each other. You're gonna have him.
Also, Rob, you do speak the Undercommon, right?
Yeah.
So I would say make sure you speak to him in that language because all these drow don't know common.
But I don't think this guy is.
Right, he's not, but for
Right,
the
it's just
sake
as
of
to
it,
So
yeah.
nice guys.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so you look around and you just both stare at each other. He's silent for a moment. He stares at you. He gets this very strange, confused expression on his face. He walks in. He goes right by here, sort of walks past you, looks up, looks above the doorway, looks around the ceiling. He sort of squats, looks underneath the table that's on the far side of the room that you're sort of standing beside. You, all the while, are just sort of staring at him. He sort of looks at you and says, "I just saw someone run in here."
you must be mistaken.
He looks at you. He says, I know I saw someone."
No one ran in here.
Roll for deception.
9 + 4, so 13.
All right. He sort of stares at you. He says, "Don't fucking lie to me. I know I saw someone."
That fall must have damaged you. You're not thinking correctly.
He
Hit your head.
he goes over to the hearth. It's not lit currently, so he sort of peeks his head inside and he sort of looks around. He eventually sort of goes, he sort of sheathes his sword aggressively. He sort of stomps out. And as he does so, he's met with the 3 drow that are standing in that doorway. He sort of pushes through them and he sort of parades up through these guys. Says, "Come on, let's get out of here."
He's up here now.
Yes.
So all the rest of the drow are following him too?
You're not able to see from your. Actually, you're peeking right now.
Yeah.
So you look around this corner and you see this really angry and frustrated red brand who seems to be a lot more kitted and a lot more muscular than the rest of them. Sort of shove himself through those 3 drow that are standing there in that doorway with their weapons drawn. Some of them sort of get thrown against the opposite wall as he sort of stomps up these stairs and continues on out of sight those drow sort of look at each other, sort of go, they sort of talk to each other for a moment until they eventually see their swords and follow him as well. A few moments pass. Eventually, you can hear this guy sort of talking to the senior drow, and they're in common, and they work their way up. The senior drow, seems just as confused as he is, but eventually everybody exits and goes up, out of sight.
So I'm gonna turn back to you guys. I'm like, fuck. Coast is clear. I'm like, what happened to that fucking weird dude?
I look at you.
Where did Constantine go?
What was his name again?
Chaos.
Vash pipes up. I think his name was Cholesterol?
Fuck, it don't matter.
So I peek through here to make sure it's cleared.
Alright, so you look out and you look left, you look right. To the left, you see that same elven wizard that sort of stumbled upon you a few moments prior.
Just
And
like
to
you said,
your, well, that would be to your right. To your left, you look up the stairs, and as you do so, you can see the back end of a few boots turning to the right and disappearing further up the stairs.
Alright, so I go meet them again.
Well, seeing that, I'm gonna pull out Mosquito and fucking point it at you because you look like fucking a dark elf.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna hold it to your throat as you round the corner.
Alright, so as you walk around this corner, you're immediately met with a blade to the throat. This blade, it's not cutting you, but you notice it just aches profoundly upon just the touch.
Alright, so I cancel the disguise self.
You sort of pause, sort of raise your hands like, relax, and your disguise sort of removes itself, and you reveal yourself to be the same half-elven individual that he saw before.
Well, that's a neat trick.
Right, I'm like, that could be useful. I'll take my blade away and resheath it and say, sorry, Constantine.
It's Klaus.
Cholesterol?
Yeah, Klaus at this point is sort of getting frustrated with these guys being incapable of remembering his name.
Well, shall we continue on, boys?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna look at that door and say, any takers?
I instantly look at Klaus.
Check door.
Alright, so you walk towards the door, and as you do so, it swings open, and you're met face to face with a red brand who appears to be pulling closed his... Actually, that doesn't work. Who seems to be still pulling closed his zipper. He looks up, and he stops, and he just stares you right in the face, and he just stands there.
Just close the door. My bad.
Yeah, close the door.
Alright, so the guy sort of stands there, his fingers still positioned near his crotch, pulling his zipper.
Perfect time, you just knife him straight to the face.
You see behind him there looks to be some sort of like wooden stalls positioned in the wall. He just stands there and stares at you. You slowly reach out, grab the door, and go. And you just stand there and just sort of continue facing the wall.
What did you see, Klaus? What's in there?
Someone using the John.
Huh?
So I'm gonna pull out Mosquito again and prepare a strike if the guy comes out.
I'm ready my mace too, yeah, and do the same thing.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna look at Klaus and say,
I'm show up my
Stab him.
dagger.
So you seen a guy in here? Is he like a red brand, civilian?
Red brand.
Oh, I hate those fuckers. I hate them.
bastards.
So everybody sort of pulls out their weapons. Talia sort of readies her flaming hands. Vash pulls out his greatsword. Eventually, you can see the door slowly creak open, and the guy peeks out, and he just sees this group of 5 people with their weapons drawn. He just stands there, and his eyes are as wide as dinner plates.
Because he's gonna slowly close the door.
He just stands there, and he's just kind of frozen in place.
Deer in the headlights kind of thing.
Yes. He just stands there and stares at every one of you, and he says,
So I'm gonna put it to his throat and say, first time you've seen the honey bears. And I'm gonna slowly push him back into the stall.
Alright, so you walk forward, you take your fiery red blade, and you sort of walk forward, you sort of take the tip and push it into his neck. You can see him sort of flinch, and he takes a few steps back as you walk towards him. You say, "You never heard of us? Named Honey Bears?" He sort of walks back. He says, yes. He sort of holds his hands out and says, He doesn't seem to be able to speak.
So I'm just gonna say, you better find your tongue quick.
He sort of pauses, goes, hello?
I'm gonna say, thankfully you just used the bathroom, huh?
He sort of stares at you and he says, yes, I guess.
So, information, now.
He nods rapidly, says, okay, well, I think a group just went up to the surface. I think they're about to mount another attack, if that's what you're here for. If you go down that pathway to the left, you're gonna go further down into the chasm. You might meet, Glassstaff. You might meet Glassstaff down there. I don't know what else you're gonna find down there. He sort of continues perusing his memory, but he seems too on the spot to put together any sort of meaningful thought beyond those.
So, I'm gonna cut off his cloak and use it to gag him. And I'm gonna look at Vash and I'm gonna be like, roll.
Alright, so you sort of lean forward, grab his collar, goes, you take the dagger, go, you cut the cloak off from his chest where it meets. You sort of take it, bound it up into a little ball. You say, open up. He goes, stuff! You say, Vash, get over here. Vash sheathes his greatsword, walks over. He already has some rope out. He walks into the room where he just sees this red brand standing there with a large bundle of red cloth in his mouth. He sort of gets out a length of rope. He says, luckily I like tying people up. He sort of walks over and he takes the blade that's on the side of the drow, or not the drow, he takes the blade on the side of the red brand, pulls it out of the sheath, tosses it. You can see it sort of skirt across the floor. On the far side of the room, there seems to be like a hole in the wall that you can see leads out into the chasm that you walked across when you initially entered the area. You see it slide out, and then it sort of falls over the edge and disappears. He sort of chuckles and says, oh, hope you didn't want that. He leans down, ties up his ankles, then he sort of grabs the rope that he just tied and just yanks him off of his feet. He sort of lands face first onto the ground, and he binds up his wrists as well.
Hog tied. I'm just gonna kick him on the side and say, don't believe everything the red brands tell you, and then turn around and close the door behind me.
All right, so you turn around, and the guy in question, he just sort of stares at you. He doesn't even seem to be making any sort of effort to communicate now at this point. You walk to the door, close it, and sort of make sure to put your shoulder against it to make sure it's closed all the way.
Alright.
So I'll go, Magnus and Vash.
Where's Glassstaff, boys? I got a bone to pick with that bastard. I'm gonna look at Talia. Because she's probably a little juiced up, knowing like last episode.
Tali looks over at you and she says, if what he says is true, apparently it's down this path.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say Pierre.
Yeah, right. So, move your shit.
You know what? You can be nicer to me.
Please?
Thank you. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We're doing a hard clean?
Hard clean, new area. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna use paper towel. Are you gonna get a paper towel?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how nice.
I have the teas. Hard clean time. I'm gonna see some combat.
Alright, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. All right. Oh, right. Okay. So, you wander down the tunnel for a long time. The air surrounding you continues to get increasingly warm as you do so. Eventually, you emerge with a wooden suspension bridge hanging before you, landing across the chasm once again, but leading into yet another cave on the far side. You can see the same orangish yellow glow on the adjacent rock face, but this time it's far more intense.
Stalactites? Can we search for stalactites?
Pierre should be automatically looking for it.
Alright, so you... Actually, where's everybody's characters?
Should be at the far end of the bridge, right?
Also, there's you. Let's, everybody, I'm not sure where your money is. Well,
Yeah, I know what I can do.
Oh, I got it over here.
alright, there's them there. That'll be Tony, fuck it. Character's dead, make a new one.
Fell off the bridge.
Okay.
He almost did die a couple last session.
Alright, I'll mark you down as well. And that's everybody important. Oh, yeah, we also need to get you. Bam, alright. So,
Mini game.
Magnus, you take a step out of the suspension bridge and you look around and you see that this seems, I mean, roll for perception.
All of us or just Magnus?
Just Magnus. 13, that looks like.
Did you put it in the book?
I don't think so. No, I did. Okay, never mind. What did I do that for? Whoops.
14.
14. Alright. Where's your shit? Alright, so you step out and you take a look around and you look up and you see that far above you to your left there's that initial stone pathway that you crossed initially when you entered this area before, or rather entered the previous area that you were in. Looking down between the spaces and the wooden planks adorning this suspension bridge, you can see the lava at the bottom of this pit is now much, much closer. Just standing here, you can just feel the heat nagging at the flesh of your feet, so much so that it's a similar sensation to the heat of an oven through oven mitts. That being said, you're too far down at this point for there to be any sort of thing for stalactites to sprout out of.
Okay. So I'm gonna look at you guys and say, don't fall.
How sturdy does this bridge look?
It's the same kind of suspension bridge that you've been over in the initial area many times over.
I guess I'll cross it.
Let the heaviest guy cross first.
Right, so
It's safe.
he crosses over and he eventually makes it to the far side. The suspension bridge sways slightly beneath him. It seems to hold. So, I mean, yeah. Sorry guys, this is my journey now.
Alright. So what does he see down at the end of the...
At the far end, he's met with a slight entrance to a cave, but it's rapidly met with a wooden wall with a wooden door. Right? Like it's segmenting the cave into two.
So I'm gonna come up behind him and use my detect magic just in case.
Alright, let's see here.
And that should be able to pass through walls and stones and shit.
Right, you should be able to see through the wood portion, but anything through the stone wall, you're not going to be able to see very far.
Okay. There goes one spell slot.
Alright, so, let's see here. Alright, so you cross the bridge and you sort of close your eyes and you cast this magical sense that you have. You look around and through this doorway, from this angle at least, you're not able to see anything peering through.
I'm gonna look at you and say, well, it doesn't look like Glassstaff is on the other side of the store immediately. But who knows what else might be.
Alright. And with that, I'm gonna slowly creak the door open.
Alright,
Well,
so...
everyone else is on the far side of the bridge still, so just point that out.
Right, I'll just assume that everybody else crosses the bridge unless for some reason they don't want to. So, Vash and Talia are also going to follow. Okay, so... Fang slowly creaks the door open. Let's say make a stealth check. See how gracefully you open this door.
There's a 9.
Honestly, you're not stealthing personally, so it's just seeing how quietly you can open this door.
Alright, well, I got a 9 and a 15. I'm at disadvantage, right?
No. I'm not having you sneak personally, I'm just seeing how quietly you can open this door.
Oh.
All right, so we'll take the 9 anyways, since that's the first roll you made. So, I mean, add your dexterity modifier or whatever.
9, 10, 11.
All right, so you grab this door and you gently creak it open. Let's see here.
As it's once the door is cracked open far enough for Pierre to go through, I'll have him pop into the other side of the room before you fully open it.
All right, so let's have Pierre roll for stuff then. 13. All right, so Fang cracks the door open slightly. He does it just so that it doesn't make any noise, really. You let Pierre go and sneak inside the room, and well, let's see here. All right, let's see here. So, Fang enters the room, and inside there's a satin carpet, and immediately on the far side of the room, you see 2 cots deployed. The room, however, is empty, except you detect that there's a small life form sitting in the chair beside a desk with a nice cushioned seat pushed into it. There's various papers pushed haphazardly, strewn on the top. To your left, there is an open chest and another door in the center of the same wall it is situated against. So, right here.
This one right here. Maybe.
And where is the thing?
It seems to be in that chair that's pushed into the desk.
Right here, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna look at you, Rob, because you're the stealth king. Actually, with Pierre in the room, the thing doesn't detect me, right?
Apparently not.
So I'm gonna have Pierre try and see what's sitting in the chair.
All right, so Pierre slowly sort of crawls up onto the roof, and he looks down at whatever it is that's situated on the chair that's pushed into this desk, and you're greeted with a familiar sight. A small green-skinned goblin is sitting there with similarly nice clothes to what Droop is wearing. He seems to be sitting there, quill in hand, writing something down on a sheet of paper.
Can I see what he's writing?
I'd say roll for perception. Let paper towel go. Alright, so from this perspective, it's a little bit hard to see what exactly is written on the pages. However, he seems to be writing up a report of some sort in what looks to be broken common.
I'm gonna kneel down next to Droop and say, hey, what the fuck's that other one's name?
What, the old goblin?
Yeah.
Thindar.
I'm gonna say Thindar, I think, is in there. What do you want us to do with him?
Vash looks at you and he says, that piece of shit.
I'm gonna talk to Droop about it, not Vash.
Alright, so you turn to Droop and you say, little buddy, what do you think? Droop looks up at you and he says, he was an asshole, you can kill him if you like.
But do you think we could play it off like Glassstaff just found you and took you? You get in a room and try and persuade him to give you a rundown of what's going on. Maybe distract him a little bit.
Totally.
And I'm gonna pull out the mosquito and be like, what do you think, buddy? I'm just gonna slowly.
he looks down at the blade, he stares at it, he's silent for a moment, and he says, I don't think that'll be necessary.
If only,
Just in case.
if only I had a spell slot.
He nods and he says, if you insist. He extends out his hand.
So I'm gonna hand it to him.
Make sure to drop it first.
And
Touch the blade.
So good luck, buddy.
Alright,
Let
so
us know if he needs to run through this door.
Maybe we should think of a safe word. Yell this word and we'll come right on in.
Candy.
Alright, so you sort of hand Droop off this small dagger. He looks up at you, looks at the rest of the party. He seems to have this strange expression on his face. He turns to the door and he slowly kind of slinks in the gap that Fang made. He walks into the room and Fang watches as the chair kind of sort of turns as the goblin in the chair detects new presence in the room. Fang watches as
Actually, I'll be watching through with PR's eyes
Right.
this whole time too.
So you watch as the chair turns and the two goblins just stare at each other. Droop has put this dagger onto his hip and they're just kind of staring at each other silently. Eventually, they speak up in Goblinese, but luckily for you, you're able to interpret it. They say, so you made it, huh? Droop speaks back up. They're still here, yes. They're silent for a minute before they speak up again. He says, so, did you tell them yet? They look at it. Droop is silent for a minute. He says, no, but Magnus is here. He's listening. They stare at each other quietly for a moment. He says, well, just through that door, up inside the chasm. That's where you'll find him. Droop sort of nods and he looks back over to the door. He looks through the cracks in the door and just kind of stares back at Fang, who he can see in plain sight. You can see Thindar himself as well, looking up and stare at you as well. They don't seem to have anything to say. Thindar doesn't seem very... he seems rather comfortable in his position.
So should we enter the room now?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll just enter the room then.
Alright, so everybody sort of enters the room. Vash takes a step in and both Thindar and Vash stare at each other. There's like a silent moment. Eventually, Thindar speaks up, albeit in broken common. He says, "Are you looking for me, or did you stumble in here?" Vash sort of shakes his head and he says, "As far as I'm concerned, you're not my concern anymore." He sort of nods his head in acceptance. He says, "I kind of figured you'd say something like that. Well, I'm assuming you're here for Glassstaff." He sort of nods slowly and he says, "To my understanding, yes." He sort of smiles a bit. He says, 0 gold. Vash sort of stares at him and says, "What?"
Come here. You got it.
You sold me to an unknown man for 0 gold. Is that how much a life is worth to you? They sort of stare at each other for a while, and
0
Vash shakes his head and he says,
Just gonna bite you.
You were causing issues. I want to accept you as my own, but we were never able to get along. He says, why do you think that is, Vash? Vash is silent for a moment, and Thindar eventually speaks up again. He says, you know what? Don't dwell on that too long. I'll just tell you why. You removed me from a life that I deserve to live. You kept me like a pet. Do you think Droop himself would subject himself to a life that you have given him? Vash sort of looks down at Droop, and Droop's looking back up at him sort of woefully. Vash sort of stares at his main goblin companion. He says, well, he's been good to me. He seemed to be a valuable member of the party. Droop sort of speaks up too. He says, I'm not sure
Poor Drew.
you're understanding what's going on, Vash. Vash sort of looks down and he sort of looks at the rest of the party. Droop sort of looks up at the rest of you guys. He says, I'll be out here if you need me. He sort of walks, opens this door, walks out, and disappears.
So I'm still outside of the door, right?
Everybody walked in at this point.
So I'm gonna walk out there and say, so you're gonna stay here?
Who are you asking that to?
Drew.
Droop, he says, he sort of looks over his shoulder and he says, I've never belonged to you in the first place. He closes the door behind him and he goes upstairs, shutting it behind him, carrying the dagger upstairs with him.
No, he's not. I'm gonna open up that fucking door behind him. I'm gonna say, Drew, I understand if you want to stay here. We were never trying to force you to stay, but I'm gonna need that dagger back, buddy.
He looks at you and he looks down at your hand extended out to him. He says, I don't think you're understanding what I'm getting at, Magnus. It's not that I want to stay here. It's that this is where I need to be.
And that's fine.
That means, no, I cannot give you this dagger back. He turns and he continues walking up the stairs.
Want to kill Thundar?
That's up to you, but I'm about to fucking grab him by the shoulder.
Is Pierre still in the room?
Pierre is still on the ceiling.
I'm just gonna grab him by the shoulder and give him a good old shocking G. And say, I'm just gonna grab him and say, I'm sorry about this, and give him a shocking touch.
Alright, roll to hit.
This fucking cocksucker thinks he's gonna steal my goddamn dagger. No! Well, +5, so that's 7. Plus, it should be a sneak attack since it's from behind, so I should get a double roll, right?
He's more facing you. He's sort of bladed off at this point. I'd say he's keeping a keen eye on you, so therefore, since he's aware of you, he's not going to be able to award you any sort of advantage.
Okay. I thought he turned his back to me again and started walking away again.
No, I mean, he is, but he's like keeping his head turned, kind of keeping an eye on you.
So, while this is happening, I'm gonna have Pierre tell the group inside what just happened, so they're all privy.
As he does as I pull my mace
All right,
out.
what are you gonna tell them?
So, I'm gonna say, looks like these goblins might have been spies or traitors from the start. Drew was trying to steal the mosquito.
As he says this, I ready my flail and I kind of walk over to Thundar.
Thindar sort of looks up at you and he looks at the flail. He smiles, he looks up at you, he says, do you think that's really going to stop them? Do you know how far we've gotten already? The information has already been spread. Killing me now will do nothing.
I'm gonna kill him anyway. I'm gonna roll the hit.
Alright, roll to hit.
Dude, these goblins got some fucking watchdog over them. 8, 9, 10, 11.
If anything, Vash should end him.
I'll say yes, that hits, since he's sort of sitting. He doesn't really have any place to move to, so you can just roll for damage.
6.
Alright, so you sort of take your flail up, go, boom! You bash him down onto the floor. He sort of gets up onto his feet. He looks up at you, then over to Vash, says, "Shh, fine, come on!" He pulls out a scimitar and roll for initiative.
How the fuck is this guy gonna be carrying a scimitar?
4, 5, 6, 7. I rolled a 7.
Am I rolling 2 because I'm not in the room?
You can roll if you'd like.
I'll focus on doing it.
I rolled that, right?
Yeah, you can roll.
20.
Oh shit.
Oh, don't forget that your initiative bonus. So I think you got, what, a 22?
Yes, you got a 22. Alright.
No, 23.
Oh, you got 3 initiative?
Yeah.
Oh. My man's out here.
Okay, what was your initiative?
It's 4, 5, 6.
6.
I moved the chair.
Okay, what was your initiative? Actually, you're not in the room even.
Yeah, I didn't roll because I wasn't in the room.
Alright, so Vash is going to roll his initiative. He's going to get very low. Alright, so this engagement does start out with Klaus.
So I pull out my short sword. I dash towards him and then I swing.
Alright, so roll to hit.
Nope.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Roll a d20 first to determine whether or not the hit actually strikes. 14, that'll hit. Roll for damage.
So this one, right?
Yes.
So,
So,
Don't forget to add your dex bonus.
so
yes, it would be
so
1.
6.
That's to hit. Your damage, I included
Okay,
the
so-
plus
so-
whatever.
So 1 plus 3.
Yes,
So 4.
4. Alright, got it. Alright, so you run over, you sort of take your blade out, you go, whoosh, you slice it down across Thendar's chest. He sustains a full 4 points of damage. Let's see here. It's now Thendar's turn. He's going to raise his sword. He's gonna just kind of raise it and attempt to throw it at Vash. Alright, so he takes his scimitar, raises, goes, huck, vroom, vroom. It strikes true right into his shield, it goes, thunk. It sticks in place, but now he's standing there unarmed. Let's see here. Vash got a higher initiative roll, so he's going to walk over, take the scimitar out of his shield. Thindar is just standing there smiling. He walks over to him and sort of meets him halfway. He looks up at Vash, and Vash looks down at him. He sort of goes, spits at his feet, a little bloody globlet lands on his boot. Vash raises a scimitar and rolls to hit.
Can't wait to hear Vinny realize that he killed it.
Then
His goblins are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. Maybe if he came and played. Alright, so he raises his sword, he goes, you see the scimitar cleave right into the center of Thendar's skull. You can see it go, some blood kind of trickles down from his skull, down his nose, sort of begins dripping onto the floor. Eventually, Vash sort of, Thendar just falls into the floor in a pool of blood, begins trickling out, begins staining the satin red carpet that's adorning this room.
And now that I see that Thundar falls, I angrily kind of stomp my way up, try to get to Magnus as fast as I can. Oh.
No, he's going the right way.
Yeah, he went to.
Oh, I thought he was going back across the bridge.
No.
I'm leaving. No, I'm gonna angrily stomp my way towards Magnus.
Alright, let's see here. So, Oh, blue marker, right. Alright, so. Alright, so these are a set of steps leading up, actually.
How much would it be if Drew plays the last time?
Right, he's been with us the whole time. But it wouldn't make any sense because with my detect magic, I would have been able to sense him. I would always have this magical aura there.
Or would that only sense if it's familiar?
No, it's anything
Oh,
magical,
anything? Like
being, item, anything with a magical,
presence?
yeah.
Well, this took an emotional turn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about Fendar,
No,
but I care about Droop.
Drew, Aster.
It was good to him. So we basically kidnapped him and made him our pet. Or at least Benny did.
Well,
at least he was taken care of.
clothes and was letting him eat. At
Well, that's
the
what I'm saying. At
table
least he was
and-
taken care of.
Yeah. I like the other one.
Well, the other one was also an asshole, and Vinny didn't want to reward him for his rash behavior.
Oh yeah. We killed goblins, right, man?
You're gonna have to get Vinny on the phone to break the news.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, really, but
Well, his goblins.
But we can't let him run away with Mosquito. You know?
Not at all. Our sole magical item in the whole group.
all right. Let's see here. So, you take a few steps up these stairs leading up and outwards, and as you do so, maybe let's see real fast. All right, so you take a few steps upwards and outwards, and you take a step outside to your.
I'm right here now.
Yes, pretty much everybody who's going outside is going to be out there. You take a few steps outside, and you immediately see just this scene of ruin. You appear to be at the bottom of the chasm. To your left, there is. It's incredibly dark down here. To your left, you see a. Looks to be a partially. Still intact church spire right there with thick clouds of just what appears to be just unending amounts of cloud going up, and you can see it building onto the haze that you saw swirling before you entered this initial area. Surrounding you, there is just bricks and rubble everywhere. This appears to be some of the buildings that were caught in the destruction from when this chasm had originally opened.
Where's Magnus and Droop?
Well, Droop is... I'm getting to that. So you take a step outside, and it just smells damp, but yet there's this dry-ish feeling against your skin. You look around and you see that there's on some of the buildings just very thick webbing going across. To your right, there is what looks to be a selection of stone bricks kind of muddled all together, and a sign right here. From your angle, you're not really able to interpret what it says, and you're able to hear some voices from further down this area. There seems to be a sort of path cleared out of the rubble, but pretty much everywhere you look, there's bricks and stones and stuff like that.
I'm gonna make my way down towards the voices then.
Well, he still hasn't touched on where me and Droop ended up.
Alright, so Magnus, let's see here. Magnus,
Because I tried to grasp him and nothing came of it. So.
only got about here. Let's see.
Who's up there?
You take a peek down, and a little while down the ways, you see Droop has convened with what looks to be a taller, bearded individual with this ornate staff. The top of it seems to be like whirling around, almost similarly to like how Squid's tentacles do, and the staff does indeed seem to be made out of glass. He has a longish sort of beard extended from a goatee downwards. He has long brown hair that extends down to the nape of his neck. He is wearing this same sort of cloak that all of his Red Brand compatriots also are wearing. He seems to be looking down, speaking to Droop. Beside him, there is this what looks to be some other wizard, but this guy, his skin is dark in coloration. He's standing there. He has this metal-looking staff with a spider situated at the end of it. He seems to be looking down at Droop as well. They're talking with one another. He has this, instead of this red cloak, he has this black one with the inside with a blood red sort of coloration. He's standing there. His hair is like platinum white, and it's slicked back neatly into a small ponytail. Both of them collectively look up as they see the party approach. Glassstaff looks up and he sort of smiles, and he looks over to this wizardly looking drow. He sets his hand on his shoulder and he seems to say something to him. Man nods in response, and he begins walking off in this direction. The other man, however, is standing there still. Nonetheless, he seems to be standing there, staff situated at his side, hand positioned about halfway up the length of it. He's standing there, sending a smile towards the way of the party.
No, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna catch up to Magnus. I'm gonna ask him to get the out.
With my detect magic, what am I sensing on this one?
Let's see here. With your detect magic, you can see that both the human and this drow, the staffs that they're holding have an innate magical sort of capability to them. Let's see here. Droop seems to be handing this dagger off to Glassstaff. He leans down, grabs it by the blade. You can see him sort of flinch in response. He looks down, smiles, and he looks back at the party. Eventually, he begins taking some steps forward, and you can hear him call out, "Gentlemen, it is such an honor to meet you all. I've been waiting so long for this very moment. Oh, Talia, look at you." Talia sort of takes a step forward and says, "I have no respect for what you've done for the city of Phandalin and their people." He says, What do you mean, dear? I've just been doing my job as prescribed by the Lord's Alliance. She speaks up. You call terrorizing a group of people and manipulating them into doing your bidding in exchange for nothing the best for the people? He says, that's a little bit of that unpleasant business that is inherent for any sort of operation. You know how it is. Ends justify the means. Talia sort of, you could see her sort of get a bit aggressive, and her stance kind of shifts into a more offensive one. He looks over at the rest of the party, and his eyes lands on Magnus. At this point, he's progressed further down. He looks down at Droop, and he sort of signals for him to go and follow this other guy. Droop sort of nods to him, looks back at the group, particularly at Vash. They sort of look at each other for a long time. Droop sort of looks down, turns his head, and begins following this guy into what looks like a cave mouth. He eventually stops right here and looks at the party. He says, "Don't be a stranger. Let's have a chat."
I don't think there's much we have to talk about.
What do you mean? I'm sure there's many words to be said for someone who's been expending so much energy to find someone like myself.
We weren't initially trying to find you.
Oh, really?
Really, there's no point in me giving you any information, seeing as I don't know what your end game is, your goals, or your purpose. So why should we even have this conversation?
He smiles and he shrugs, says, "Well, I was figuring maybe since you went this far, I could offer you a position in my ranks. You have proven yourself to be mighty warriors, and I figure I don't see why we couldn't arrange some sort of deal."
Just attack him? What do you guys want to do?
I'm down to just attack him. But first, we should ask him about the lost mine of Pandelver if he knows where it is.
Yeah, we can. And so ask him, and I'm gonna roll to see if I can see if he's lying or not.
I'm gonna speak up.
Do you know the location of the lost mine of Philadelphia?
Well, that's a 19 anyway, so.
He looks at you and he says, "Well, that's something that we can discuss if we make a deal."
Well, what kind of deal would you like?
Well, just your services in exchange for what the mine has to offer. He looks over at you, Magnus. He says, "I understand that you're a man of magical inclination like myself. I'm sure you can imagine the boundless opportunity that this would provide."
You should walk up to him.
But at what cost?
Oh, at the cost of making riches beyond your wildest dreams. And, well, some of the most powerful staffs known to mankind.
You should walk up to him like you're gonna make a deal with him, and then go to shake his hand and fucking shocking grasp.
I'm sure he knows that anyways, by all the intel and shit that they know on us. While this is happening, I also want to point out stealth opportunities. Because I don't know if, Rob, did you come out of the tunnel yet?
Not all the way, no. I'm at the
So-
end of the tunnel.
Just throwing that in the back of your mind. Because like Joe said, there's rubble everywhere. So it could be an opportunity to try and flank them.
All right, so you rolled to sort of figure out if he was being truthful or not. I'm pretty sure, right? All right, so you rolled a high enough stat. You can see that he's looking to earn your trust in some shape, way, or form. Whether or not he's being entirely truthful about his endgame purposes with you is unknown. However, he seems like he's trying to avoid conflict for now.
Well, I leave it to the group. See what you guys want to do.
I say we frag him.
Rob?
The one we really want to talk to is last stuff.
Well, you're talking to
We are
Greg.
talking about stuff.
Oh, I thought we were talking to the.
No, Black Spider.
He's walking
Black Spider
away.
has a lot of the information on the tower and everything else.
Oh, right.
I'm assuming they both will have they're working together, so.
Right.
Now, as you guys are talking, on the far side, where you see this cave mouth open, you can see this large spider begin just kind of sort of crawling out. Glassstaff looks over his shoulder and says, Kiki, relax. The spider slowly sort of crawls over and sort of positions itself on top of this rock. He sort of looks down at everybody. He sort of continues standing where he's standing, and he looks at each and every one of you. He says, well, what do you say? Can we accept civility?
I'm gonna attack him.
Go for it.
Alright. I'm gonna just slowly walk over and be quiet, and as I approach him, I'm gonna use my channel divinity to cast a Vow of Enmity against him, and basically be like, for all the atrocity and all the action committed, I can't trust you, and nor would I. And then when I get close to him, since I now have advantage, I'm gonna attack him.
Alright, hold on. Alright, so as you begin walking forward, he sort of extends his hand out. He's like, wait. Let's see here.
How big are we talking about for a spider?
It's like the size of like, it's large.
Like hippo?
Yeah, hippo size. Let's see here.
Pretty big fucking spider.
That is a pretty big spider.
Oh. Alright, so you're gonna need to roll for a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, well, I got it too.
He says, wait, and as he puts his hand out, he sort of makes some sort of gesture, and as you do so, you step, and you just get frozen in place, and you're not able to move. He sort of takes a few steps, and he sort of stands beside you. He sort of looks at you and says, now we can continue on with the way we're doing, or we can do this my way.
Can I tell if that's a concentration spell he cast?
Roll for Arcana.
Never mind.
You've never seen a spell like this before, so you have no idea.
I'm assuming it's a paralysis, so if we hit you, you should snap out of it.
Or something, maybe.
Why? Stay around. Do something.
For me, I've never seen this guy before, so I'm just confused.
Right. He doesn't understand its significance.
I'm going to try and have Pierre sneak and try and, I guess, get over behind this rock and try and semi-flank him.
Alright, roll for stealth.
Never mind again.
Alright, so as you do so, you watch as Glassstaff's eyes sort of trace Pierre as he hops off of your shoulder and runs around the corner. He has this sort of unimpressed, smug look. You watch as Pierre rounds the corner and is instantly met with the familiar sight of a rat face to face with your chameleon. He says, please, let's not be too hasty. He sets his hands on, let's see here. He sets his hands on Fang.
I knew we should have took a long rest before we came here because I have no spell slots.
I mean, there was fancy in this book too. Or a chest.
Well, while the action hasn't started yet, you could go back there and see what's in that chest.
It actually sounds pretty good.
Because we've been doing a lot of shit. You have plenty of time to...
Alright, so he sets his hands on Fang and he says, enough with this hostility. You can see sparks cast out of his hands as he sends a shocking grasp into Fang's plate armor. He goes as he takes 5 points of electrical damage. He says, "I don't wish to hurt you any more than I already have, so please, no more."
Does that stand me out of my paralysis?
Well, you're shot
Oh, yeah.
now, so either
Yeah.
way, start your next turn, you won't be able to do anything.
Right.
At this point, he sort of dismounts from Fang's side and he begins walking towards the rest of the group. He says, "Kiki, watching, will you?" The spider just goes, and he sort of crawls down and sort of stands by Fang, sort of ready to attack if he tries anything. He walks over to the rest of the group and he looks at everybody and says, "Now, are we able to speak civilly, or am I going to have to kill you?"
Well, you haven't said much of anything I wanted to hear so far.
Well, then I suppose, perhaps, our goals are incompatible.
You don't even know your goal.
Our goal is to gain access to the lost mine of Fandelver.
For your riches and plunder.
Yes,
And the magical item held within.
correct. If you like no part in that, then, well, I can't just let you go now, can I?
It's not that we might not align, but it's the way that you're doing it is our issue.
He smiles, he says, "Like I said, ends justify the means. The end goal is much greater than the damage caused in achieving it."
And your end goal?
My end goal? Well, I can make magical items available to the general populace. Tell me, when was the last time you entered a magical shop?
Yesterday?
Yes, how were the prices?
And how would your prices be?
Well,
If you're
far...
the only one that has access to this and own a monopoly of it, you can inflate prices exponentially.
I would say that I wouldn't indulge that far.
Check 'em for lying.
Sure, go for it.
20.
He seems like he actually does want to make magical items available to the general public, but there's an appendix somewhere within that.
If we attack, you're getting eaten by a spider.
Yep, and I don't have no spell slot, so I can't even divine smite it.
So, attack? Or try and buy time?
I'm done with attack. I mean, at least Fang would.
Right.
Fang would definitely attack.
Sorry, what are these over here?
That's rubble.
Yes. Oh, by the way, you can try and look at that sign if you so wish. You have time to do so if you care to.
It's on you. You're the one right next to it.
I'm down to attack. You know where I'm at.
Well,
You're still stunned.
Tali
No,
and
I know
Bash
it's
aren't
fine.
doing shit, so they can read the sign.
Alright, so Vash walks over and he takes a peek at the sign, and it seems to be an old blacksmith. He's gonna roll for perception. Oh, God damn it. Oh, it's right down here. Isn't it? He looks down at this sign, then he looks up, and closer to where the roof of this place is situated, you can see a small red-colored keg just sitting there. It seems to be somewhat damaged, however, there is a little bit of black powder spilling out of it.
Where is this?
Like, right over here.
Black powder.
Yes.
Okay.
So is it just like a walkway or a bridge?
That is like a path cleared out from the rubble.
Okay.
If you go anywhere outside of that, you're gonna have you're going to be doing difficult terrain.
So if I were to try to get to here,
Yes, you would have to roll for dexterity to make it without like tripping over the rocks.
okay, that's my move.
All right, so
Stealthily?
As
I
well?
mean, yeah. I'm the one that hasn't been feeling it, right?
I mean, if you're still underneath inside that little cavern area, then yes, he doesn't know you're here yet.
Right. So I try to stealthily move over there.
All right, roll for stealth.
I believe in you. In your stealth rolls.
So dexterity, right? 15.
Yes.
Well, I thought you had advantage on stealth or
Oh
something.
yeah, then so 5,
So
Yes.
17.
All right, so you slink down and you see that Glassstaff is too focused on the main people that he's concerned with. You're able to therefore slink over to the old smithy. Let's see here. Because it's difficult terrain and you're not in any hurry, your walking speed will be halved.
Oh,
You're only going to be able to walk 15 feet. Each block is 5 feet.
here?
Yes, just about. At this point, Glassstaff speaks up. He says, "Well, I can't stay here all day. You know, I need to take over Neverwinter as, well, this will aid me in the distribution of my goods."
Well, that piece of information is all I needed from you. And then I'm going to use a level 2 spell slot and cast Magic Missile on him. Make it present.
I'll say at the end of this, you will be unfrozen.
+1 dart per level, so I have 4 darts. So +1 dart per level 1, level 2. So 3, 4, 5 darts I can cast. 1d4 +1 force damage. +3 intelligence, so I'm gonna start off each one hitting at 4 damage. Okay.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you need to roll to hit for each and every one of those.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's the way it works.
Okay. I can direct them to hit one creature or several. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So roll to hit for every single one.
Yes.
2, so 1 misses.
Yep.
7, 12.
That one hits.
20.
Oh, that's a nat 20?
No, that's
Unnatural 20.
unnatural.
So 2 hits,
And 19.
3 hits.
Okay. And then D1d4 plus 3. Okay.
Right.
For 3 rolls.
Correct.
So 3, 6,
6.
4,
Alright, that's 10.
15. Right, no, 4, 5, 6, 7. 17.
Alright, sure. Alright, so you cast these magical darts outwards. So you cast these magical darts outwards, and he looks as these 3 magical darts fly through the air and go thump, 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 each into his body, dealing him 17 points of damage. Now everybody needs to roll for initiative.
Does Rob too? Because he's.
Yeah, you can roll for initiative, but since you're stealth, you can attack whenever you want.
5, 6, 7. I rolled a 7.
First.
Oh, 20 for Rob.
Your initiatives are nuts. That's your second 20 on initiative, right?
Yeah.
But at least that means you can move yourself first to try and reposition.
Yeah. I'm still gonna try to get over here. Get this powder keg.
All right. So what was your initiative?
20.
23.
All right, your initiative.
7.
Your initiative.
16.
All right, let's see here.
Try not to shatter his glass staff, people. I would definitely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Mosquito traded for the glass staff. Well, Rob, you need to get that Mosquito back. That'll be very helpful.
Yeah, especially for you, because you get health back on your attacks, and you do. Ooh-wee.
Definitely need to do a hard stop at 3 o'clock, so I got going to work before.
All right, so I think that's everybody. So, Klaus, you're up first.
So I'm just gonna keep moving towards powder keg.
All right, so you move towards the powder keg and you make it all the way over. You still have an action available.
How heavy is the powder keg?
It's partially empty, but roll for strength to figure that out.
7.
7 plus your strength modifier. 0. All right. So you lean down and you attempt to pick up this powder keg. You feel that it's quite dense. This is at least like 70 or so pounds, and just this loose gravel that you're standing on is not making it any easier. So you're not really quite able to pick it up. All right. So that's your action expended.
For your inventory, Rob, do you have like basically my thought is, can you make a grenade?
I don't think so. But I have a water skin. I think I have some rope.
Put a water skin up. Huck it. Flaming hands well when it reaches. Extra explosion damage.
All right. Let's see here. Next up is Talia.
So the question is, you gonna go for glass staff or the spider?
You don't have to deal with the spider. Even though I want to deal with glass staff because my vow of admitti's on him.
All right. So Talia's up here. He's gonna cast Produce Flame against Glassstaff. Just gonna roll to hit. Just barely hits. All right. She hits Glassstaff for a total of 10 points of damage. She got a really good roll. All right. It is now on you, Magnus.
I'm going to reach out and shocking grasp. Since he's right in front of me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
18. All right. Roll 1d8.
plus 3, 11 damage.
Okay.
Right. That's really what. Like, I can't afford him. I don't even know what spells he can cast.
Yeah.
You make sure he's not moving. Actually, if he's stunned, obviously you can't turn it back to a spider.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, yeah, you could. Then you got a 12-foot tall spider standing behind you.
All right. So what'd you get? An 11.
Yes.
All right. So you go up to him, you kind of grab him by his shoulders, go. He sustains 11 points of damage. All right. It is now on Fang. I'd say, unfortunately, this turn is going to be spent getting out of your stun condition.
Yeah, that's fine.
Actually, let me make sure that your hold person doesn't still last. Since he took some damage, he's going to need to roll to see if he can maintain the damage he took. Okay. He succeeds in continuing to hold you in place. It doesn't say hold person can be ended by sustaining damage. So, therefore, you're still held. So, you need to roll a wisdom saving throw to see if you can escape.
Right now?
Yes.
Natural
Nice.
20.
Alright, so you force yourself out from his magical will and you're able to kind of release one hand and you release the other. And eventually the rest of your body breaks free. Alright, so glass staff.
I forgot. Sleep. What an idiot.
Things got the iron willpower.
Alright, so glass staff's gonna raise his staff and you see the tip of it glow fiercely. As it,
He's stunned, bitch.
you're right. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Alright, so he spends his turn getting out of that condition. So it goes down to the spider. So he's going to lean down and attempt to attack, or let's see. Let's see here. Alright, so the spider's going to lash out and attempt to bite Fang. What's your armor class?
20.
20? Alright. Alright, so the spider leaps forward. You can feel it just gnaw right into your flesh. Its fangs bust through your heavy plate armor. You can feel the initial pain of its fangs sinking into your flesh, but then you can feel this searing, burning sensation as its venom spills into you. Make a Constitution saving throw.
7, 8.
Alright, you take a total of 20 points of damage.
And I am unconscious.
Alright, so upon this bite, Fang, you can see him begin to lose his balance and he collapses down onto the floor. The spider sort of leans down, sort of continues gnawing on him, but then eventually its eyes just sort of look up and realizes that there's more of the party to attend to. So now it is on Vash. Vash takes his bow, draws it, and attempts to fire it at Glassstaff. Oops. God damn it. Come back here, you. Right.
Oh wait, I'm actually at 1.
Right, because of
Okay,
your
relentless endurance.
relentless endurance, correct. Well, nonetheless, you're sort of driven down just from the sheer pain of all this coursing through your body. You're sort of yielded. The spider's practically still on top of you. All right, so he's going to take his bow, draw, and fire it out. The arrow flies through the air, and you see it land true right into the chest of Glassstaff. It deals 4 points of damage to him. Alright. It's back up to Klaus.
This guy's taking a good amount of damage so far already.
So I fill up my water skin with the gunpowder, turn into like a makeshift grenade, and I toss it towards Glassstaff.
Alright, so you spill the water out, and you kind of take some of the black powder out from the keg, and you begin filling up the leather bottle to the best of your capability. When you get it as full as you possibly can, you cork it, make a roll for dexterity to see if you can toss it well enough.
5.
Alright, so you kind of bring it over your head, you begin to toss it, but as you do so, the cork sort of pops open. It empties half of its contents, and it lands right about here. Alright, so Magnus, it's now on you.
Alright. Glassstaff is between me
Keep
and
stone.
the spider. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'll grasp him again. 19. Oh, 4 points of damage.
Alright, how many?
4 points.
4 points of damage. Alright, so you sort of continue holding on to Glassstaff from your previous attack, and you go zzz, once again, you deal an additional 4 points of damage. Alright, it's now on Fang, who is now down to 1 health.
Can I attack the spider?
You can certainly try. Roll to hit.
What is that? 13 plus 3, 16? Well, I
16.
actually get plus 5, so 18.
Alright, that hits. Roll for damage.
5, 6, 7, 8. 8.
Alright, so you take your flail, you sort of yield down to the ground, and you go, alright, fine. You backhand it and you sort of crush it right into the side of the spider's face. You sort of destroy 1 or 2 of its many eyes in doing so, and you deal a gross 8 points of damage.
Still got your health potion, bud?
Nope.
Yes, he drank it. Alright, now it is back onto Talia. I forgot to do her. She was supposed to be before Magnus. So she's going to use Produce Flame once again and direct it towards Glassstaff. Let's see here. She coalesces her natural magical energy out of the stones around her. She brings it, collects it, and then forces it forward. From the flailing about that Glassstaff is receiving from this shocking effect, the attack ultimately misses. Alright, Glassstaff is still stunned as a result of the successful attack on him, so he spends his turn breaking out of the stun condition. Now it is back on the spider again. The spider is going to lean down and attempt to finish off Fang.
Hope that armor class holds out. Poodle, stop it. Just gotta.
Alright, so the spider leans down and just bites you right in your neck, dealing 4 points of damage to you since you're unconscious. I'm not sure if you'll even be able to make this Constitution saving throw, so you're going to take the full brunt of the poison damage. You get dealt... let's see here. You get dealt an additional 8 points of poison damage.
Note to self, never stack armor class, it's useless.
Alright, so it is now back on Vash. Vash, seeing Fang collapse down to the floor, he, given the circumstance of the situation, he's going to move to the left. Actually, he's going to move to the left over here.
Damn.
And fire an arrow at the spider. He takes an arrow, draws it, brings it back, releases it, cruises right over its head, taking a few of its spidery-like hairs off of with it. Right, it is back up to Klaus once again.
Alright. So, am I like, do I have like a clear sight to last stuff?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm gonna use my hand crossbow and fire an arrow.
Right.
Fuck, I never gave you those bolts. I got those poison bolts.
Alright, so roll to hit.
10.
10 plus the relevant modifiers.
With the 6, right? Because you got an attack bonus in the middle. There's your crossbow.
Short bow. I don't have a short bow though. I have a hand crossbow.
No, that's just what you're able to use. You start off with a short bow, but you don't have a hand crossbow. So you're using a short bow.
Okay, gotcha. So short bow. So
And plus sneak
5?
damage, right?
Yeah.
He's still stealth.
Get added, yeah.
Yes, because you are stealth, you can add an additional 1d6 since it's a sneak attack. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
If you hit.
Correct, if you hit. So,
But he does roll with advantage on this, right? Because he's so technically stealth.
I thought that's how it worked.
I'll say for this particular circumstance, yes, since Glassstaff is distracted. So yes, you can roll twice and take the higher value. Alright, so you're going to take the last one, I'm pretty sure. So what was your last roll total?
So am I doing an attack bonus?
Yep.
No, your attack bonus, actually, yes.
Yeah,
no.
attack bonus.
15.
15 certainly hits, roll for damage.
So you said roll 2 of these?
No, roll 1. 4
So
plus your dexterity
7.
modifier.
Oh. So 7?
Yes,
And now you can roll, what is it, d6 for the first sneak attack damage?
correct.
1.
Alright, how do you want to kill him?
Huh?
How do you want to kill him? You landed the killing blow. How do you want to kill Glassstaff?
To the neck?
Alright, so you draw an arrow back, it goes...
Sure, that is-
It goes straight in one side of the neck, out of the other. He looks like a weather vane. He just... Magnus just sees this arrow suddenly just go straight through Glassstaff's neck. He has this expression of just utter shock. He goes... Eventually he just goes... falls
When
down
he's
backwards.
falling, I want to grab his staff and hold it while he's falling, so I just have his staff in hand.
Alright, so...
Yeah.
roll for dexterity.
No, that's not mine.
That isn't yours. All I use it against is you use your own dice.
15.
17.
Alright, so you reach out, you take a hold of his staff. As he falls down, his grip sort of naturally wanes and he just falls backwards down onto the floor. A cloud of dust sort of picks up around him. You now have a staff of defense.
And do I know what that does now, or do I?
You will probably need to get it appraised.
But I can't with my magical being know exactly what.
I
the
mean,
staff
you can
does
roll
when
for
it does
Arcana.
it.
and in the heat of the moment, there's just too much stuff going on for you to be able to figure out how you'd be able to activate the staff, let alone you'd never even manipulated a staff before, so you're not quite able to figure out what this
What
does.
was it? Staff of defense?
Yes.
Looks like I need to go find Percy and Penelope's again.
All right.
While you're taking a nice long rest, buddy.
Yeah.
So spider time.
All right.
Better
So
me than any of you guys.
Fang is still unconscious. Let's see here.
I gotta go though.
Oh, that's a shame. All right.
Well, I'm assuming were we designed after last half dead and the spider's dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it would
You're not gonna miss out on much of anything then.
it would be back down onto the spider. The spider crawls forward. You, by the way, you see through Pierre's eyes, the rat. It looks around as if it's surprised, and then you can see its figure slowly fade away into nothingness.
I figured as much.
All right. So you, being the next person in line, it targets you. It runs over and sort of pounces on you. Yes.
I thought. Oh no, he shot an arrow. Never mind.
Right. Actually, that's not even the right one. All right, so you watch as this spider comes and pounces on top of you. Its fangs sink into your flesh. Roll a Constitution check.
1. Nat 1.
Oh no.
I just feel like if I have the staff, it should automatically work.
All right, so you feel this searing sensation as the venom is injected into your body. It deals a grand total of 17 points of damage.
I got 1 health.
Lucky you. All right, it's now on Vash. Vash is going to take his greatsword. He's going to unsheath it and sprint towards the spider. All right, so going to roll to hit. Nat 20. All right, all right. Oh my fucking god. That's probably the best sequence of rolls I've ever seen. Okay, so he runs over. This spider's on top of you. You can see it opening. It's gnarly, spiky maw. It goes screaming. It's strange spider is screaming to your face. Moments after, you can see just and his head just lands right on top of your chest. You can see its chitin, its body sort of wander around, sort of stumbling about until eventually it lands down onto the floor beside you, and its arachnid claws just sort of curl up into the center of its body. Both are now dead, meaning combat is over.
So I'm gonna get the fuck up and say, I think Fang's dead.
Talia runs over to Fang's side, kneels down, and uses her
I'm gonna go over and start poking you with the glass staff.
Alright, Magnus sort of looks at you over Glassstaff's now dead body. His eyes are still stuck wide open, as if he's just extremely surprised. He steps over Glassstaff's corpse, and he sort of goes beside this heavily armored half-orc's body. He takes the base of a staff and sort of pushes it into your butt a few times. Talia walks over and says, "Have some respect." She kneels down, puts her hand on your neck where the bites originally were, and casts Cure Wounds. You get healed for 11 points of damage.
11, you said? That
Yes.
puts me back at 1. I'm now conscious.
Alright, so Fang sort of begins to stir and he looks up and he sort of blinks towards the sky.
What happened?
Talia looks down at you, then he looks behind herself at her former companion and partner in arms, Glassstaff. She sighs, gets up, walks over to her, and sits down by his side. She's silent for a while. She closes her eyes. She says, "I'm sorry I had to come to this, friend." She leans over, takes her fingers, and gently closes his eyes.
I slowly, sluggishly get up, and I look at him and I say,
Well, let's continue on.
Yeah. Well, some people have potions left. You need to heal up.
I think Vash still has his potion left. So Vash says, "I'm not going to use this. Here you are." And he hands the potion off to you.
alright, I'll take it and I guess I'll drink it.
Alright, so roll 2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2.
Correct.
That's not a
Nice.
That's a net 1 right.
4.
3, 7 plus 2, 9.
Alright, so you get healed for an additional 9 points of damage. At this point, you can feel the wound in your neck closing and the poison slightly getting purged from your system, but you still have the poison effect, meaning that you have disadvantage on skill checks.
Right.
But hey,
Thank
you have
you,
a
Vash.
hair full pool. Vash sort of smiles and he looks down at Talia. Talia just is sitting there not speaking. Vash walks over and sort of kneels by her side. She says, "You alright?" Talia sort of just nods slightly. She says, "Yes, I'm fine." She picks herself up, sort of kicks over Glassstaff's body. She says, "It was him. I need to leave." She turns and walks back to the doorway from which you guys entered the area from.
You're leaving the cave?
No, she's walking back over here.
Right, but she says she needs to leave. Is she like exiting in general?
She's just walking this way, and that's all she seems to be doing with the context she's giving you.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna ask Talia, is there any, well, with the body, but I'm wondering if there's any, well, never mind, I have his staff. That's proof enough that he's done.
Alright, let me make sure that he doesn't have any sort of particular treasure on him. Let's see here. So you walk over to Glassstaff's body, you sort of whip up his cloak. You sort of rummage through his pockets. You find 18 gold pieces on him. An invisibility potion in one of his pockets. And in one of the larger pockets inside his robe, you find a curled up piece of parchment.
Ooh, a spreading.
Reading.
Alright, so you unscroll it, and you see craggy little marks on it. It says, "My lord, it appears the honey bears are coming to Neverwinter proper. Make the proper arrangements, as I think they, make the proper arrangements. They might find out about your dealings. I seem to have earned their trust. However, it seems we're coming close to the end of the line. Droop."
Well, that makes me wonder what the other one was writing.
Lindar?
Yeah. Actually, can I just walk back down there and check the chest to see if there's any more potions or anything that might be of use?
First, make a perception check.
Okay. 1.
Alright, so...
But don't forget, I got that magical thing still going through.
Right. Fang, you also make a perception check.
18, 20.
Alright, so everybody's sort of looking around, collecting their dues. Fang and Talia, however, they both slowly sort of look up. They look around, and then both their eyes land on the cave from which the black spider and Droop both went into. There's like a slight just... It sounds like lots and lots and lots of running footsteps.
Yeah. Might be time to piece the fuck out of here.
Yeah, at least for now.
Yeah, you about dead. I got 2 spell slots left. But then we might run into the group as we leave as well.
Yeah, we might. Well, either way, if we can get out, we gotta warn the people that there's an army coming.
Right.
There's another fight is going to ensue.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this realization having been made, and these heroes being in somewhat dire straits as what they can only assume is a horde of drow about to spill out from the underworld, we will pick up and continue the story next time.
Aye. Good session.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what that